go live on YouTube right now. And what we're going to do is we're gonna put this over here, and we're gonna put Two's Company. Where are you, Two's Company? I have the tab right here, and I'm gonna share that tab. Beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous. Oh, I'm so sick. This sucks. I have my tea. Refresh? Did it actually update? It didn't. It's chapter 33. Wait. Streamer Zoe flashbacks. Our flustered mama is baby talking. We're going to be reading the new chapter of Two's Company, y'all. Toss is totally waiting until you finish this chapter to drop it at the last second. Thank you, Nat. Is Toss between us? I do not know. Let me check. I mean, I said Toss knows that I would be going live today. I don't see Toss here, which is fine. Which is fine. I'll let her work on her chapter. You are not late. I have not started. I am just chilling. Hi, Gumball. Thank you for the. Oh my god, Bat Boy Tater. Thank you. Thanks, Nat. Thank you. Oh my god. The YouTube live is working right now. I think so. But it does seem to be working right now. I don't want to say anything. Ooh. Oh, Sam, that's you. Hi, Sam. Sam on both YouTube and TikTok. How long are the chapters? Okay. This chapter is like 10,000 words. The next chapter, Toss said, would be between 12 to 13,000 words. And that's why I was like, oh, my Saturday is empty. I can do a long stream because I'm busy tomorrow. I'm busy all day. But we will see. Sorry. The summary for this chapter is a dive into Rumi's past with her mother. And the notes are trigger warning for grief and death. Thank you, Toss. Thank you. I mean, we expected it. See how your throat does. Hi, Reef. Reef at work, like always. Reef always watches these streams on mute at work. Oh, it's so funny. I cried so hard during this chapter, guys. Everyone tells me that. Everyone keeps telling me that. And right now there's a challenge for the Polytrix authors happening right now. Make Artie cry, because no one has made me full on cry yet. I have teared up. I have like whimpered, I guess, but I have not cried. I am feeling a little better, Danny. Like better than the morning, better than every day. I get like a little better. It's just the change in climate, and like I just traveled. I might have gotten a bug on the plane. What would make you cry? What would it changes? What would make me cry? That's a that's a hard question to answer. What would make me cry? I mean, when I was reading Two's Company, I think what made me cry while reading Two's Company was like the part where which part was it? Was it the I think it was the part where like Rumi ran when like when Mira kissed her for the first time, and I was like, no, they have to be together. But like it really depends. It really depends. Depends on what I'm feeling vulnerable to at the moment. I cried the most in this one. That's what I keep hearing. That's what I keep hearing. I am sleeping in my car tonight. Oh, Reef out here working. Such long days. You know, as a kid, I used to terrify the tourists by jumping off a 30 feet wall on the sidewalk town. I don't know what I don't know what that's related to, but oh my god, 30 feet? How much is that? That is so tall. What? Might actually make you cry. Okay, y'all. If it makes me cry, I will clip it. I will clip it. Like I'd jump down and scare them because imagine a kid randomly above you. That is kind of frightening. Is this freaky? Like, can I read it out in public? Not these chapters. Two's Company has like one smut chapter, but the rest is pretty like rest you can read on public. It's just it gets into very heavy subject matter is the thing. For me, the Artie Cry challenge, do happy tears count? That's a good question. That's a good question. Yes, let's say it does. Let's say it does. Hmm. Let's say do laughing tears. No, laughing tears and happy tears are a bit different. Like if I cry because of the beauty of something, like for example, I have a TikTok that I posted where I was crying while listening to What It Sounds Like because the golden melody came in and I was like, "Ah!" If like that would count. Laughing tears does not count. I did my math backwards. That's a lot more reassuring. What? Okay. Okay, I think I'm gonna get started because y'all, especially when there's no one else talking back to me. Okay. Chapter 33, Lavender Has Always Been Lovely, Part 1. Toss. Toss, where's part 2? A dive into Rumi's past with her mother. Rumi sat on the bed, drowning in a hooded towel shaped like a giraffe, little fabric ears flopping with every bounce of her knees. Her damp hair clung to her cheeks, and her skin still smelled faintly of the sweet peach soap her mom always used on her. Amma? She chirped suddenly, swinging her legs. You always smell so nice. Across the room, Mi Young knelt by the dresser, pulling out a folded pair of soft pajamas, back with a faint, amused smile. Do I don't- What's Mi Young's voice? Do I? She asked, pretending to sound surprised. Rumi nodded eagerly, slipping off the bed and padding across the carpet until she reached her mother. Without warning, she pressed her small body against Myung's side, burying her face into the curve of her neck and taking a dramatic sniff. Myung startled slightly before letting out a soft laugh, setting the pajamas aside. Rumi, baby, she chuckled, brushing a damp lock of hair behind Rumi's ear. That tickles. Tell me, Rumi demanded, muffled against her skin. Myung tilted her head, playing innocent. Tell you what. Rumi pulled back just enough to pout up at her, cheeks puffed out like a sulky hamster. Mm, why do you always smell like flowers? Myung smiled softly and pinched one of Rumi's cheeks, earning a small, indignant squeak. You're too cute, she murmured. Then, leaning in conspiratorially, she whispered, Do you really want to know? Rumi's eyes widened, sparkling as she nodded furiously. Yes, yes, yes! Myung glanced around the room, lowering her voice like she was about to share a top secret mission. She beckoned Rumi closer with a crooked finger, leaning down until their foreheads almost touched. Fairy dust, she whispered. She pulled back, hiding a playful smile as she watched her daughter's expression morph from awe to immediate suspicion. Rumi froze for a moment, then gasped softly, clutching at her towel like it was a weapon. No way! Myung just hummed innocently, returning to fold the pajama top. You're lying, Rumi accused, retreating dramatically back to the bed and plopping onto it with all the weight her tiny frame could muster. She sat cross-legged, her indignantly. Behind her, Myung laughed under her breath. Rumi? She called softly, glancing over her shoulder. Rumi tilted her head higher, refusing to look at her. Myung sighed like a long-suffering parent, walking over to kneel in front of the bed. So, she said, resting her chin on her hand, you're not talking to your Omma now? Rumi gave the smallest shake of her head. Oh, I see how it is, Myung murmured thoughtfully, leaning closer until she was inches from Rumi's stubborn little face. Hello? Is anyone home? She wrapped her knuckles tightly against Rumi's forehead. Oma! Rumi whined, grabbing the hood and tugging it further down to hide her face. Myung bit back a laugh, eyes softening. What did I do to make my plum so mad at me? You lied, Rumi murmured from under the hood. You said fairy dust. Because it's true, Myung said, feigning seriousness. Rumi peeked out just enough to glare at her. Is not, is too, is not, is too. They held the stare for a beat before Rumi puffed up her cheeks again and crossed her arms tightly. You're so mean, Amma. I'm not talking to you ever again. This reminds me of our Discord chat because Crow loves saying "nuh-uh, nuh-uh." It's funny. Mi Young placed a hand over her heart, gasping dramatically. Ever? Rumi nodded hard. Ever. Well, Mi Young said with a sigh, standing up slowly. If my daughter doesn't want to talk to me anymore, I suppose I'll just never talk to her again either. Rumi's head shot up immediately, eyes wide and wounded. What? That's right, Myung said solemnly, walking toward the dresser, fists clenched, her mouth opening like she wanted to protest. But she spun back around instead, huffing loudly. Fine! Myung smiled faintly, shaking her head as she came back over. Pajamas. All right, silent treatment or not, Plum, come here. Rumi shuffled over reluctantly, still refusing to make eye contact as Mi Young dressed her in the soft, oversized shirt and matching shorts. When she was finally tucked into bed, Rumi peeked out from under the covers, watching her mother cross the room. Oma, she said softly. Hmm? You forgot my story. Twitched as she fought to keep a straight face, pretending to busy herself by smoothing down the blanket at the edge of the bed. Oh, I was going to early, like it was no big deal. But, Rumi, one brow arched. Didn't you say you weren't going to talk to me anymore? Rumi gasped, betrayed, and scrambled to sit up. Well, yeah, she stammered, cheeks puffing defensively. But stories don't count. Myung tapped her chin thoughtfully. No, no. I distinctly remember saying she wasn't speaking to me, so she turned back toward the door. I suppose no story tonight. Uma! Rumi flopping back dramatically and burying herself under the blankets. Her mother hummed. I don't know, Plum. It sounds like stories need talking. And since we're not talking, I guess there's no story. Rumi's jaw dropped. That's not fair! Myung gave a soft shrug, calm and deliberate, as if the matter were completely out of her hands. For a moment, oh god, my throat gets dry very quick. For a moment, Rumi just stared at her, tiny fists curled around the blanket. Her bottom lip trembled slightly, and for a second, Myung thought she was going to give in. But instead, Rumi huffed loudly, turning her back and yanking the covers over her head. Fine then, she declared from beneath the blanket, her little voice muffled but fierce. Myung smiled faintly, shaking her head as she tucked the edges of the blanket neatly around her stubborn little girl. One very stubborn plum, she murmured to herself. She leaned closer, brushing a damp curl off Rumi's forehead, but got no response. Do you want a good night kiss at least? She asked gently. From under the blanket came a tiny, defiant no. Miyang chuckled softly, eyes crinkling at the corners. All right. I'll just leave it right here on your nightstand then. She exaggerated the motion, leaning over and making an over the top kiss sound, a long, dramatic mwah, before gently patting her hand against the wooden surface. There, she said warmly, pretending to place it down. One perfectly good kiss, safe and sound, just waiting for you. That's very cute. She is so silly. A small rustle came from under the covers, but Rumi didn't emerge. That's cheating, came a muffled grumble. Miyang smiled softly, brushing her fingers along the edge of the blanket. Maybe, she whispered, her voice tender now, but it's still yours, Plum. Good night, she said softly, her voice warm but gentle, almost like a lullaby. Rumi huffed from under the blanket, pulling it tighter over her head until only a little tuft of hair stuck out. So, no good night back? Miyang teased lightly, chuckling under her breath. Hmm, hopefully you can change your mind by the morning. Rumi stayed stubbornly silent. She heard the soft click of the light switch, the faint rustle of her mother's slippers on the wooden floor, and then the door creaked shut. And then it was just quiet. The kind of quiet that felt too big. Rumi peeked up from under the covers, blinking at the soft shadows across her room. Without the warm glow of the lamp, everything looked different, darker, pointier, like the shapes in the corners were alive and waiting. Her Umma really left her, without a story, without a kiss. Her throat tightened. She curled her little fingers into the blanket, tugging it up to her chin. She's really mad at me, she whispered to herself, voice wobbly. Maybe, maybe she'd never talk to her again. Her lip trembled. Her lip trembled. She sniffled once, then twice, the sound loud in the quiet room. She tried to be brave and close her eyes, but then the shadows shifted, stretching weirdly across the wall, and her tiny mind immediately supplied a terrible thought. What if a monster was hiding under the bed, or in the closet, or right behind her? Rumi gasped softly and whipped her head around. Nothing there, but that was exactly what a sneaky monster would want her to think. She clutched her blanket tighter, heart pounding, then sat up and swung her little legs over the edge of the bed. She had to find Amma. Tea break, tea break. Poor Rumi. She's so she's so precious. My Shayla. Thanks, Nat. Oh God, ugh. The fact that my throat gets dry very quickly is the most annoying thing. Bare feet padding softly against the cool floor, she shuffled toward the door, one hand trailing along the wall to guide herself through the dark hallway. Every little creak of the house made her shoulders jump. What if the monster followed her? She hurried, nearly tripping on the hallway rug until she reached her mother's door. The crack of warm light spilling from the room felt like a secret promise, and she pushed it open just enough to slip inside. Mi Young was sitting up against the headboard, lamp glowing soft and golden beside her, a book resting in her lap. Umma? Umma? Her voice came out shaky and small, almost a squeak, and she scrambled onto the bed as quickly as her little legs would let her. Startled, Mi Young looked up, eyebrows lifting. But as soon as she saw her daughter's tear streaked cheeks, her expression softened. She let the book aside and opened her arms. Oh, Plum, she murmured, pulling her in. What's the matter, darling? Rumi sniffled hard, her tiny fists rubbing at her damp eyes. You're, you're mad at me, she whispered, voice wobbling like glass about to crack. Myung blinked. Mad? She echoed softly, tilting her head. Sweetheart, I'm not mad at you. Rumi nodded insistently, hiccuping between words. You are! You didn't say good night, or read me a story, or give me a kiss? Her voice cracked, and she buried her face against her mother's shoulder. Myung sighed, brushing back a damp curl from Rumi's forehead. Oh, baby, she whispered, her voice caught somewhere between fond and amused. I only thought you didn't want me to. You said you weren't talking to me, remember? I didn't mean it, Rumi cried, sniffling so hard her words came out wobbly. I do want to talk to you forever. Myung's chest tightened at the sight of her little girl's trembling chin and wet lashes. She cupped Rumi's soft cheeks with both hands, her thumbs brushing away the tiny tear tracks. Oh, Plum, she whispered, her voice soft but steady. I know you didn't mean it. Rumi sniffled again, cheeks puffed out like she was trying very hard to stay mad but failing miserably. Myung smiled faintly and leaned forward until their foreheads touched, her warmth grounding them both. And for the record, she murmured, even if you did mean it, I'd still talk to you forever anyway. That earned her a tiny hiccuping laugh from Rumi, the kind of sound Myung always tried to memorize in her heart. Rumi threw her little arms around her neck and clung tight, and Myung kissed her forehead, holding her close until her shaky breaths began to even out. When she felt the tension melt out of her daughter's tiny shoulders, Myung pulled back just enough to look her in the eyes. I'm sorry too, she said softly. Rumi blinked up at her, confused. Why are you sorry? For making you think I was mad at you, Myung explained gently. For not telling you right away how much I love you. Sometimes grown-ups forget how much little hearts can hurt when they feel left out. That wasn't fair to you, and I'm sorry. Rumi's lip wobbled, but the apology seemed to land. She nodded once, solemn in the way only a child can be, then mumbled into her shoulder. I forgive you, Amma. Myung smiled softly, hugging her close. Thank you, Rumi. She kissed Rumi's hair. Now, she whispered against her curls. How about that story? Rumi nodded quickly, all her earlier frustration melting away like sugar in warm tea. She tucked her into her mother's lap like she belonged there, which, in her little world, she absolutely did. This is so rough. Myung reached for the book on her nightstand and turned it so Rumi could see the cover. I was reading The Little Prince. Oh, wait, is that Myung speaking? Yeah, I was reading The Little Prince, she said softly. Do you want me to tell you the part I just finished? Oh my god, guys, sorry. Shit is rough. Oh my god, Nat. Oh my god, Nat. Jesus. Oh my god. Oh my god, Nat just keeps going. Thank you. Oh my god. The Little Prince W for real. I love The Little Prince. Don't die, Artie. I'm trying not to. Uh-oh, she can't cough like that right now. It's just the recovery. Like as you're recovering from like a disease that like affects your throat. It just like your coughs become so dry and it's so annoying. Coughing like that is crazy right now. Oh, okay, I get you guys. I get you guys. I Y'all spoiled it. Y'all spoiled it. Y'all are funny. Rumi rubbed at her damp eyes with her fists, then nodded. Mm-hmm. All right. Myung smiled faintly, thinking about how to make the story softer for her daughter. So, there was a boy who lives on a very tiny planet, and on this planet, there's a flower. A very, very beautiful flower. But she hesitated, then ruffled Rumi's hair. Well, she's a little silly sometimes. Rumi tilted her head, already invested. Why? She says dramatic things, Myung explained with a small laugh. Like, oh, I'm the most special flower in the whole world. You have to take care of me all the time. Rumi giggled, covering her mouth with both hands. That sounds like Auntie Hyejin. Hyejin? Hyejin. Hey. Hyejin, right? Hyejin. That sounds like Auntie Hyejin. I should know how to say this. Um, Myung smirked, pretending to zip her lips. Don't tell Auntie you said that. I won't, Rumi whispered conspiratorially, then leaned in closer, eyes big and curious. Does the boy love the flower? Myung softened instantly at the question. Yes, very much. Even if she is silly? Even if she's silly, Myung said, smoothing a curl away from Rumi's forehead. Because when you love something, Plum, you take care of it, even when it's a little difficult, especially when it's difficult. Rumi blinked slowly, her little brows furrowing in thought. What if the flower hurts him? Myung stilled, her thumb still stroking gently over Rumi's temple. She glanced down at her daughter's searching expression, recognizing the quiet weight behind the question, one too big for someone so small. Then, Myung said softly after a pause, he has to decide if the flower is worth keeping close, or if it's safer to step back. Insane ass sentence to say at the point we are in the story. Oh my god. Oh my god. I saw some of the sneak peeks. Insane ass sentence to say. Anyway, um she traced the edge of Rumi's towel gently. But if he decides to keep caring for it, he has to tell the flower when it's hurting him, so the flower can try to be better. Because love isn't just about holding on, Plum. It's about growing together. Little Prince was such a good choice. Guys, Toss is a very good writer. Is anyone saying this? Oh no. Rumi stared at her for a moment. Lips parted like she didn't understand everything, but wanted to. Oh, Myung kissed her forehead. One day, when you're older, that will make more sense. For now, you just need to know this. She pressed her palm gently to Rumi's chest over the soft beat of her heart. Anyone who really loves you will try their best not to hurt you. And if they do, they'll make it right. That's what matters. Rumi blinked up at her, watery eyed, but calmer now, then whispered, You'd never hurt me. Myung smiled faintly and pulled her close, resting her cheek against Rumi's. Never on purpose, Rumi. Never, ever on purpose. For a while, they just sat like that, mother and daughter curled together in a little bubble of warmth and quiet. The soft hum of the city outside faded into nothing, and the weight of the day finally began to slide off Rumi's tiny shoulders. Hmm. Rumi made a soft, sleepy sound, curling closer, her cheeks smushed against her mother's shoulder. After a moment, she whispered, voice thick with drowsiness, Can I sleep in here tonight, Umma? Her smile deepened, warm and immediate. Of course, baby. She closed the book, placing it carefully on the nightstand, then switched off the lamp, letting the room fall into a gentle dark. Myung slid under the covers, tucking both of them in, and Rumi immediately burrowed closer, her small arms clutching at her mother's nightshirt like she was afraid she'd drift away if she didn't hold on tight enough. Jesus Christ. She smoothed a gentle hand over her back, used to the clinginess, used to being her daughter's safe place. Jesus Christ, okay. After a quiet moment, guys, okay, this might get me. After a quiet moment, Myung's voice came low and soft, the kind of sound only meant for Rumi's ears. Rumi? Hmm? Rumi cracked her eyes half open, heavy with sleep. It's lavender, Myung whispered. What I smell like. Rumi hummed faintly and shifted closer, pressing her tiny nose against the curve of her mother's neck to sniff again. Her lashes fluttered, and she let out a soft little sound, content and certain. It smells like you. Mia, it smells like you. That was Rumi. Sorry. Myung's laugh was quiet, warm, the kind of sound that wrapped around Rumi like an extra blanket. She pressed a kiss to her daughter's soft curls. I guess it does. I want to smell like you too, Oma, Rumi murmured, her words slow and sticky with exhaustion. Myung hummed thoughtfully, still stroking her hair. Then we can wash your clothes with my lavender detergent. How does that sound? Good. Rumi's voice was soft now, sleep tugging hard at her edges. Thanks, Oma. Now I can smell like you forever. Okay. Shut up. Myung froze for just a heartbeat, her chest tightening at the quiet sincerity in her daughter's words. She kissed Rumi's forehead again, lingering this time, breathing in the familiar warmth of baby shampoo. You already do, Plum, she whispered, almost to herself. You always will. Okay, y'all. No one say anything. Toss when I catch you. Wait, what are you saying, Nat? You see what we're saying? Reminder, no spoilers. Thank you, Danny. Everyone say thank you, Danny. Oh my god. Sorry, there was some hair in my mouth. Ew. Oh, you're in for it. I believe this. Let me plug my guys. I came to my apartment like 5 days ago now. Yeah, around 5 days ago, and I still haven't unpacked everything, and my room's a mess, and there's no moving space. It's so rough. It's so rough out here. Literally working on my first fanfic, truly inspired by Artie's love to finally start writing. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Suffice it to say, a lot of this stuff is very inspiring. No author has made me cry yet on stream. Famous last words. Toss is always going to win the Artie Cry Challenge. Any other thoughts is just hubris. Oh, I see you, Nat. I see you. 4 days. You arrived Monday and stayed at Ons, did you not? I arrived Sunday. And wait, today is Saturday. So I came here Monday night. How many days is that? That is 5 days. That is 5 days. Because Monday night I came back to New York. Also, Red, your brain is crazy. Red, your brain is crazy. Like, I don't know how you keep that much information in your brain. I'm just listening to you while doing chores. Hope all is well. Thank you. I'm just sick. But you know what? sometimes sometimes when I read or like when I narrate while I'm sick, I have to, because my voice is like so changed, I have to like put more effort to be even more articulate. So sometimes it ends up sounding better. I don't know if it does right now, but sometimes I like it better when I'm sick. It's harder to read, but like I grew up around special needs with special needs aren't with the memory of an elephant inherited the trade by copying. Gotcha. Put some honey in that tea. Oh, I did. Oh my god, Reef is alive, guys. Oh, yay. Jabberwocky, I just read your comment. I am taking my meds. In fact, I might take even more vitamin C right now. Because, like, I keep taking. Um. Reef is alive, y'all. Let me see how much progress. Oh, we made some progress. Okay. Let me check the YouTube. Oh my god, we have 3 people on YouTube. That's crazy. Um, okay. Dr. Yoon? Oh, that's right. His name is Dr. Yoon, right? In the movie? Sorry, I saw it and I was like, "Oh my god, that's my friend's surname." My friend Paul. His surname is Yoon. I love Paul. He's not here. Anyway, let's find a voice for Dr. Yoon. I need to stop. Oh god. Long time no see, Rumi. Do I like that voice? That is the that is the doctor in K-pop Demon Hunters, right? How's his voice? Uh, uh, Male voices are harder, like obviously for me to do, but like long time no see, Rumi. Dr. Yoon smiled warmly as Rumi settled into the familiar armchair, her hands folded tightly in her lap. The office smelled exactly the same as it always had, faint lavender and paper, a comfort she hadn't realized she missed until now. Yeah, Rumi murmured softly, her voice thinner than she intended. Dr. Yoon glanced her over, tilting her head thoughtfully. You look good. Happier, even. Her lips curved into a knowing smile. I'd say there have been a few changes since you were last here. Rumi hesitated, rubbing her palm against her thighs before finally nodding. Yeah, a lot's different now. She felt the old memories prickle around the edges of her mind, sitting in the same room months ago, tangled up in the first gnawing realizations about Celine. Back then, everything felt like it was a lot, crumbling in ways she had no control over, but she'd walked out of this office feeling lighter than she came in. I, um, I met 2 amazing people after leaving my aunt's place, Rumi said, her voice soft but steady. And now they're my girlfriends. Dr. Yoon blinked in surprise before her smile white. Oh, it's a her. It's a her. Sorry. Okay. I judged. It's a her. I'm so sorry. Dr. Yoon is a her. So let's find another voice. The beauty of cold reading, and you have to do characters. Okay. I don't know. I've done a couple of adult women. Anyways, Dr. Yoon blinked in surprise before her smile widened, warm and genuine. Let's do. That's wonderful, Rumi. I'm glad you found people who make you feel safe. I don't know if I like that. I don't know. She paused, studying her carefully. You seem lighter. It radiates off you. Rumi ducked her head, smiling faintly. Yeah, I love them, she admitted, almost shyly. Dr. Yoon reached for her notepad, but didn't write anything down yet. Instead, she leaned back slightly, giving Rumi space. Is that what you want to talk about today? She hesitated. No, not really. Her voice cracked just a little at the edges. Maybe later, but right now, she swallowed, fiddling with her fingers before forcing them still. I want to talk about my mom. Miss Dr. Yoon's expression softened instantly, her posture shifted, attentive and careful. Okay, she said gently. Tell me a little tell me a little about what's on your mind. Rumi stared down at her hands, thumbs pressed together so tightly they ached. When she died, the words came out small and quiet, or more like how. Dr. Yoon let out a beat of silence, stretch before speaking, her voice low and steady. The way she passed feels important to you. Rumi nodded faintly, her throat thick. Yeah, I think it changed me more than I realized. She tried to twist at the cuff of her hoodie before remembering. She hadn't worn one today. Her hands stilled awkwardly in her lap instead, palms damp. She had an illness, Rumi said finally, the words tasting heavy in her mouth. I still don't even know exactly what it was. I was so young, and I think she didn't really tell me. She blinked hard, trying to keep her voice steady. I guess she didn't want to scare me. Or maybe not saying it out loud made it feel less real. She inhaled shakily and lowered her gaze, bracing herself for where this would go next. I'm gonna die. I might die. Am I the only one getting deja vu from what? Wait, if okay, I just said Reef say I'll give you a kiss, and I was like, is that to me? No, it's to Nat, I think. Man recognition is through the roof. Hello, all my friends. Now if I could I want to make a shark out of coral for you. That's crazy. Nat, you can do that? The talent in this fandom is crazy to me. It's crazy to me. It's insane. Hi, Reef. Oh my god, Reef, can you hear me? I told you not to do that, Artie. Do not die. Artie, I love you. Please don't go bald. Thank you. Thank you. I won't. I'll cut my hair time to time, but I won't go bald. Oops, she angry. I'm not angry. What? Reef is throwing out accusations. Girl, what do you mean? Also, the reason why my hair is like wet is because I took a shower and it's not drying because it's so humid in this damn city. Sending Polytrix fluff energy from Callie. Woo! Callie shout out. Oop, the polycule is fighting in the Discord? In the Discord? Because I'm not on the Discord right now. Should I go to the Discord? What is happening over there? Oh, you were talking about Reef. You were talking about Reef. No, we fine. Thank you, Danny. You were talking about Reef. Even in the polycules, then I got confused. I got confused. Can you tell that my brain is a mess? Okay. Hello? Okay, I'm back. Sorry. I'm just gonna keep going. I'm okay. I'm okay. Sorry, I just breathed weird. Okay, I'm cool. I'm cool. Oh, okay, guys. I'm gonna try to be strong. Rumi remembered the little signs first, the ones her tiny brain didn't know how to name back then. The random coughs, the way her mother would press a hand lightly to her chest sometimes, as if steadying herself. Back then, Rumi just thought something went down the wrong pipe, like Umma always said when she choked on water. Or maybe there was just dust in the air. Nothing scary, nothing serious. Except sometimes the coughs were worse, longer, rougher, like they hurt. And the first time it really happened was on a quiet afternoon. sunlight spilling through the living room windows. Jesus. She was in her room at her tiny plastic table, a box of crayons scattered everywhere, humming softly to herself. On the paper in front of her were crooked stick figures, her and Amma, holding hands under a lopsided sun. When she was done, she held it up proudly, her grin stretching ear to ear. Oma! She called, she called, hopping to her feet. She clutched the drawing tight as she darted down the hallway on little socked feet. No running in the kitchen, remember? Myung's voice came from where she stood by the stove, a wooden spoon in hand. She was humming too, something soft and familiar, the smell of simmering soup wrapping warmly around the air. Sorry, Rumi puffed out, skidding to a stop. But I made this for you. She shoved the drawing toward her mother, eyes sparkling. Can you put it on the fridge? Please, please, please. I don't know what that voice was. Mi Young took the paper, blinking at the colorful chaos of lines and figures before placing a hand dramatically over her chest. This is a masterpiece, she sniffled exaggeratedly. I am deeply honored by this gift. And yes, your request to hang it on the royal fridge throne has been granted. Oh my god. When I start laughing, the coughs do come. Rumi giggled, bouncing on her toes, watching proudly as her mother crossed to the fridge. Except halfway there, Mi Young suddenly stopped, her breath catching before she doubled over slightly, coughing harshly into her hand. Rumi froze, startled. The sound was rougher than usual. She blinked wide, round eyes up at her mom before taking a tiny step forward and placing her small hand on her mother's thigh. Oma, you okay? Mi Young turned her head slightly, still coughing, and not just a bad tickle, that's all. See, I can go method now. I can go method because I get it. When the fit eased, she straightened again, smoothing out her apron and flashing Rumi a small smile like nothing happened. She pinned the drawing carefully on the fridge and turned back around, motioning grandly toward it. There! What do you think, Plum? Rumi blinked up at it, forgetting her worry instantly, and beamed. Amazing! Mi-young chuckled softly, but it turned into another cough, shorter this time, but sharp enough that she had to lean one hand against the counter for balance. This time, Rumi didn't forget. Her little brows pinched together as she stepped closer, tugging gently on her mother's apron. Oma? I'm okay, Mi-young reassured quickly, rubbing slow circles on her chest. Just maybe a little sick, that's all. Sick. Sorry, there's a lot of noise coming from outside. Rumi knew what sick meant. Sick meant bedtime early, warm soup, and cartoons on the couch. Sick meant taking care of someone so they could get better. Without a word, she grabbed her mother's hand in both of her tiny ones and started tugging her down the hallway. Mi-young blinked, startled but amused. Rumi? She asked softly, letting herself be led. You need to lay down. Rumi's voice was tiny but firm in that way only very small, very determined people could manage. She's so cutie pie. They reached Rumi's bedroom, and she marched her mom straight to her own little bed, pointing insistently. Lay here. Mi-young hesitated just long enough to smile before sitting down carefully, stretching out on the small mattress that barely fit her. All right, doctor's orders. Rumi nodded seriously and darted toward her toy closet. After of rustling and muffled clattering, she emerged with her pink plastic doctor bag and stethoscope in hand. Oh my god, this reminds me of Dr. What was it? Dr. McStuffins? Was that her name? That's so cute. Her mother blinked in mock surprise, a small laugh slipping out. Ah, Dr. Rumi is here to save me, is she? Yep, Rumi said, all business now, slipping the stethoscope's earpieces into her ears. Don't move, patient. She pressed the cold plastic disc to her mother's chest, listening to nothing in particular, her little face scrunched with exaggerated focus. Mi Young gasped softly, covering her mouth like she was hiding tears. Is it is it bad, doctor? Rumi pulled back slowly, her expression grave. I'm afraid it's very serious. She reached into her toy bag and pulled out a colorful band aid, holding it up dramatically. You have rainbow cough disease. She clocked it. She clocked it. I'm this is how I don't cry because I everything is funny to me. I make a joke out of everything. Rumi nodded solemnly. It's bad, but don't worry, Amma. I'll make you better. Miyang smiled softly, brushing a stray curl behind Rumi's ear as the little girl fumbled with the tiny band aid, sticking it gently to her mom's wrist like a life saving treatment. How do you feel? Rumi asked, still peering at her mother like she was a real patient. I already feel better, Miyang lied easily, pulling her daughter into a tight hug before Rumi could study her face any longer. Thanks to my little doctor. Rumi squealed into her chest, giggling as she wiggled in her arms. You're suffocating me! Oops, Miyang chuckled, loosening her grip and tapping the tip of Rumi's nose. You get better, Amma, right? That was a whisper. You get better, Amma, right? Rumi whispered after a moment, brushing a stray lock of hair from her mother's face the way Miyang always did for her. Miyang hesitated just long enough for Rumi to notice, but then she nodded and smiled. Yes, Plum, I'll get better. But she didn't. It only got worse. By the time Rumi started to grow taller, her mother had already begun shrinking into her exhaustion. The once bright spark in Miyang's eyes had dimmed, replaced by a constant, quiet weariness. She was tired all the time. When Rumi would tug on her sleeve, asking if they could go to the park or build blanket forts, Miyang would stroke her hair gently and murmur, Another time, sweetheart, when I feel a little better. But that better never came. Eventually, Rumi stopped asking. Even her scent changed. The familiar lavender detergent that once clung to Miyang's clothes was slowly replaced by the sharp, sterile tang of antiseptic whenever she came home from yet another doctor's appointment. It scared Rumi in a way she didn't know how to name. But she believed, she had to believe, that things would get better, that this was just something temporary. Oma was strong. Oma had to be strong until the night she turned 8. Is Toss gonna is Toss gonna pull a cell? Is Toss gonna pull a cell? Wait. Oh my god. Shit. I need to verify the guys. I don't know. I know not everyone has read If It's Nice to with Thrice. Is Toss gonna pull a fucking cell? This is why I can't read both of them. Like I would mix them up so much. Is she gonna pull a fucking cell? Okay. You guys are saying no. I don't know what that means. Does that mean no, she's not pulling a cell? Or no? As in like no. Reminder, no spoilers. Thanks, Danny. It's okay. Thanks, Danny, though. I read both too and I suffer. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hi, Toss. Hi, Toss. I'm not, don't worry. Okay. I got scared. I got scared. Okay. Um. Okay. I don't know. That sentence was just very scary. Hey, what was that? Tell us. I'm like in the middle of the chat. Miyong sat her down on her bed after dinner, smoothing the blanket under her small hands like she was stalling. The warm light of the bedside lamp pulled around them, soft and golden, but her mother's face looked pale against it. Rumi, she began softly, her voice almost careful enough to break. Yes? Rumi blinked cross legged, a stuffed bunny tucked under her arm. Miyong stared at her daughter for a moment, her gaze lingering on how much she'd grown, how her once blabbering toddler now came home chattering about friends and crayons and playground races. She reached out, brushing a strand of hair behind Rumi's ear the way she always did when she was nervous. Her eyes softened, but they also glimmered in a way Rumi didn't understand. Fuck. I need to tell you something important, Plum. Rumi's grip on her bunny tightened slightly. Okay. Miyong inhaled slowly, as if choosing her words one by one. Umma's been going to the doctor a lot lately, right? You noticed. Rumi nodded. Because you get coughs sometimes. That's right. Miyong smiled faintly, stroking her daughter's cheek with her thumb. But it's more than just coughs, sweetheart. Rumi tilted her head, frowning. Are you sicker than I thought? Miyong's throat worked around the lump there, but she nodded slowly. Yes, I am. She hesitated, her voice softening even further. And the doctors are trying their best, but they think Amma might not get better. The words hung in the air, heavy and sharp, like something too big for Rumi's little world. Rumi blinked at her slowly, as though she hadn't heard her right. But you will get better, she said matter of factly, nodding to herself like she could will it into existence. The doctors just have to fix you. That's their job. Myung swallowed hard, cupping Rumi's tiny hands in both of hers. They're trying, Plum. They really are. She took a shaky breath and added softly, but sometimes people stay sick, even when everyone tries their hardest. Rumi stared at her, her lower lip trembling slightly. But you're my Ummah, she whispered, almost like it was proof against anything bad happening. Ummas don't go away. Myung's vision blurred, but she kept her smile steady, pulling Rumi into her lap. She kissed her temple, holding her as tightly as she dared. I'm here right now, she whispered against her hair, her voice cracking despite her best efforts. And I'm not going anywhere tonight or tomorrow. I'll always be here to love you, Rumi. Always. Rumi sniffled into her shirt, nodding like she understood, even though she didn't. Not really. In her 8-year-old mind, sick still meant soup and rest and stories. People didn't just stop being here. So when Myung said she might not get better, Rumi heard something different. She heard, I'll be fine, I promise. And she believed it. I'm going to keep going because this part is short. Rumi sniffled a little, her voice small and uneven as she finished retelling the memory. So, yeah, I always thought she was going to end up okay, that maybe it was just a bump in the road, something she'd get better from. Dr. Yoon nodded softly, jotting something down. Her voice was gentle when she asked, Was there a moment when it started to feel real? When you realized she might not get better? Rumi blinked a few times, her throat tightening. Yeah, she whispered, nodding faintly. Yeah, there were two, actually. 2 moments where I kinda knew. She hesitated, her fingers curling against her knees. The first time was one night I woke up to these weird sounds, hushed whispers, and sniffles. And that's a line break before we go back. I don't know if you were here, Toss, but like I'm still recovering and I was coughing and everyone in chat was like, "You can't be coughing right now while reading this." Oh my god. I'm checking something. Already stop and take a break. I need a break. I'm attacking people on Twitter? What? What? Okay. I've been crying the whole time, chat. I'm so sorry, Nat. I hope it's like at least it's calming. Sometimes crying is calming. Sorry, I just saw Sam's comment. You're getting a little too far with the method acting. Artie, it's getting scary. Why, thank you. I didn't even study method acting. I didn't go to Strasbourg, baby. I went to other studios. If people aren't aware, I went to NYU for acting, but I didn't go to method. I didn't do method. But thank you. I'm not because I'm just getting sadder. I'm so sorry. I already went to I didn't go to Juilliard. I auditioned for Juilliard. I passed the pre-screening at Juilliard and I came in for the in-person audition and then I got rejected in the first round. Swear you were being me young. I didn't know you were sick at first. It's okay, Artie. Don't apologize. It's Tom's fault. Hashtag I'm struggling, chat. Tals, did you release the new chapter yet? I haven't been on Twitter. Let me see something real quick. No, you haven't. Lol, Juilliard fumbled the bag. Nah, it's okay. I was very happy. I was very happy to be where I was at NYU, even though NYU sucks as an institution. All institutions suck, and NYU sucks a lot. But I liked my studios and I made friends. Toss is waiting for you to finish before clicking post, they said. Oh, really? Because I was joking. I was joking that like if you were going to like post it, I was like, oh my gosh, she's doing it for me. But if you're actually waiting for me to finish, that's crazy. You're crazy. I feel a little special. Ooh. I'm pre-reading. Okay. I am always so impressed by people who can read other fanfics while like people who can read while listening to someone talking. I'm like, how does your mind do that? But if you can do it, you got this, queen. I believe you. Through which is we're on time. So next stream tomorrow. Artie. Oh no, we're going to. We'll see. Girl, I'm struggling right now. I'm so sorry. Don't rush. I'm so sorry, Taz. Only half that's concerning. I just can't focus in only one thing. I like it's a bit weird because like sometimes I can work when I'm listening to certain types of music and I have a certain list of songs that I call Adderall songs that make my brain light up a certain way, that make me focus. Wait, what? Have you read Art Gets Isekai? No, but I need to. It's very silly. Toss, you're not. I don't think Toss is in that one, right? Toss is not in that one, but it's very silly. Guys, Toss said she's gonna read my work. Okay, let's keep going, y'all. She remembered padding out of her room, rubbing her sleepy eyes with the back of her fists. The hallway was dark, except for a thin line of warm light spilling out from her mother's bedroom door, cracked just slightly open. She heard crying. At first, Rumi thought she imagined it. Her Umma didn't cry. She'd never seen her cry. She was happy, playful, strong, always humming in the kitchen, always smiling when she tucked her in at night. She didn't break. But the closer she got, the louder the muffled sobs became. Rumi hesitated, then shuffled closer on bare feet. She pressed herself carefully against her mother's door, knees drawn up, arms wrapped around herself, tears streaming down her cheeks as she tried uselessly to wipe them away. Her shoulders shook with every ragged breath. Another woman was there, crouched beside her, holding her steady. That was the first time I saw Celine. That's crazy. She'd heard her name before, in passing. Umma had mentioned her sometimes, but Rumi had never met her, never even really pictured her. But here she was, sitting close enough that their foreheads almost touched, one hand cradling Mi Young's jaw, while the other rubbed slow, steady circles along her back. I don't I don't know what to do. Her mother's voice broke into hoarse whisper, the sound unlike anything Rumi had ever heard. Her strong, silly, playful Umma sounded small. It must hurt in a way she didn't have words for. Celine's voice was quiet but firm. Hey, breathe. You're okay. I'm right here, she murmured, her thumb brushing gently against Mi-young's damp cheek. Mi-young shook her head sharply, clutching at the fabric of her pajama pants like she was trying to hold herself together. I'm not okay, see? I can see it. Her voice cracked again, and she swallowed hard, forcing the words out anyway. I can see it in her eyes. Rumi's. She's starting to look at me like I'm. Her chest heaved. Like I'm breakable. Like I'm fragile. Celine stayed quiet for a beat, her thumb brushing Mi-young's damp cheek slowly, grounding her. She's worried about you. That doesn't make you fragile. Mi-young let out a broken laugh, closer to a sob. She tries so hard to help me, Celine. She brings me water, folds blankets for me, asks if I need medicine. Her hands trembled as she pressed them together. She's 9 years old. She shouldn't have to go through this. I shouldn't need her help. I'm her mother. I'm supposed to be the one taking care of her, not. Her voice cracked again, choking off into silence. Rumi's little fingers curled against the wall, tears stinging her eyes. She didn't understand everything they were saying, but she understood enough to know her Umma was hurting. That alone made her chest feel tight. Celine reached forward, brushing a strand of Mi-young's hair back, her touch gentle and lingering. You are taking care of her, she said firmly, pressing her forehead to Mi-young's like she could anchor her there. You've given her everything she needs, Mi-young. You love her. That's enough. Mi-young shook her head again, eyes squeezed shut as more tears fell. What if it's not? What if I can't be here long enough to keep giving it? Don't say that. It is, Celine said firmly, squeezing Mi-young a little tighter. You've given her more than you realize. Mi-young stared at her for a long moment, lips trembling as another wave of silent tears rolled down her cheeks. Finally, she whispered, "I'm scared." "I know," Celine murmured, her thumb tracing soft, grounding circles against Miyang's cheekbone. "But you're not alone in this. You don't have to carry it by yourself." Rumi stayed there longer than she meant to, pressed into the shadows of the hallway, watching her strong, silly Umma fall apart quietly in someone else's arms. That was the first night Rumi realized Umma was really sick. Not just coughs, not just tiredness, something deeper, something scarier. She crept back to bed eventually, crawling under the blanket and clutching her stuffed bunny tightly to her chest. She whispered into the dark, as if the words themselves might keep it true. "Umma's gonna get better. She has to." She believed it with everything in her little 8-year-old heart. But deep down, even if she didn't want to admit it, a small part of her already knew the truth. Great. What are y'all saying? Hmm? No, lag. Oh no. Oh no. I'm supposed to be the one taking care of her. Nuh-uh, too close to us. Nuh-uh. Orange Nation, stay united. I'm not saying anything, just sobbing. Was there lag? Did it cut off? Stop it already. I'm crying my eyes out. Hi, Trinity. Oh my god, such a beautiful voice should not be making me want to cry. Thank you. You're talking about my beautiful voice, girl. Oh my god. You're talking about my beautiful voice? Lol, sad orange noises. I heard you sing. Did I stutter? Okay, okay. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. Sign up for voice acting. I do voice act. I want to do more of it. Guys, I need to get an agent. It's so dire. Dubbing for fanfics. I mean, like, this is my dubbing for fanfics. The thing is that, like, I've only made one podfic, and that was a fanfiction of me, and I did it for fun. Um, recording and like post production takes a lot of time for me. It's a lot of work. I'll be your agent. I feel like I'd be a really good Bobby. I would appreciate that. Your voice is so good for reading. You really do the character incredibly. Thank you. I audition for audiobooks. Again, I need to do more of it, but like just like the last few weeks has been like um but yeah, I do audition for stuff. I do it. Plot twist, we all become your agent and you pay us with fic readings. If anyone became my agent, they would be getting at least 10%. I also really want to be a voice actor and was debating whether to read fan fictions on live. You should. It's fun. Okay, I'm gonna keep going, y'all. Something that started happening recently is when I read for a long time, my like I start like getting like I swallow a lot of air or something, so like there's very weird noises coming out of my chest. And I'm trying not to burp. So hopefully let's not burp. Okay. There it is. For Rumi, the second moment, the one that really settled the truth deep into her bones, came when she was 11. So this is like a long, like chronic illness. She's like, it's taking its time. Okay. It had been an ordinary day. or at least it had started that way. She'd gotten home from school, slipping off her shoes neatly by the door like her mom always taught her, humming a tune she couldn't quite remember the name of. The house was quiet, still in that strange way she'd slowly gotten used to over the years. She padded down the hallway, grabbed a set of soft shorts and an oversized t shirt from her room, and headed straight to the bathroom for a shower. Steam fogged the mirror while she undid the messy braids she'd worn to school, the strands frizzing stubbornly around her face. Her reflection stared back at her, cheeks a little rounder now, eyes a little older, though she didn't feel any older. She still wanted everything to go back to the way it used to be. After washing off the day, she changed and padded barefoot into the kitchen, reaching into the fridge for a cold water bottle. From there, her feet carried her on instinct to her mother's room, the way they always did, no matter what. The door was cracked, the room dim and hushed. "Mom?" she whispered softly, slipping inside. The curtains were drawn, the edges of the room soaked in shadows. Her mother lay curled beneath the blankets, her chest rising and falling slow and uneven. Sorry. Oh my god. Rumi stepped carefully to the nightstand, squinting at the weekly pillbox. She popped open the Tuesday compartment with practiced ease, shaking two small pills into her palm. "Mom?" she murmured, placing her free hand gently against the blanket and giving it the softest shake. Myung stirred with a faint hum, her eyelids fluttering before opening halfway. "Rumi?" "Yeah," Rumi said, smiling faintly even though her chest felt tight. "It's Tuesday. You need to take your medicine." Myung blinked a few times, her body moving sluggishly as she slowly sat up, bracing herself against the headboard. Her breaths came shallow and uneven, a quiet puff of air escaping her lips as she rubbed at her tight eyes. Rumi reached over and flicked on the small bedside lamp, the soft golden light filling the space, and handed her the pills along with the opened water bottle. Myung took them silently, swallowing them down with a few slow gulps. Then she gave her daughter a look, tired but warm, and reached out to brush a hand against Rumi's cheek. She whispered, her voice scratchy from "You don't have to do this for me." Rumi shook her head quickly. "I want to." That made Myung huff a quiet laugh, shaking her head faintly, though the sound quickly dissolved into a small, strained cough. Rumi's brows knit together, but she didn't say anything, just waiting patiently until her mother steadied herself. "Thank you, Plum," Myung murmured finally, leaning back into her pillows with a faint sigh. "Always taking care of me." Rumi smiled, small and shy, twisting the cap back onto the water bottle. "Always," she said softly, like it was a promise. Myung let her hand rest over her daughter's a brief moment before pulling it back. "How was school today?" Rumi shrugged, settling onto the edge of the bed. Same old, but she perked up a little, bright-eyed suddenly. "I learned something new in math." Myung's lips curled. "Mm-hmm." Rumi nodded quickly. Explanation about fractions and number lines and how a shortcut before her teacher even finished explaining it. She gestured animatedly, swinging her legs over the edge of the bed as she talked. Myung didn't interrupt, just watched her with this slow, soft, distant expression, like she was memorizing every single detail. The slope of her daughter's nose, the way her hair stuck up a little at the crown, the faint dimple that showed when she smiled. Her little Plum was growing up so fast, and she was running out of time to see it. Her body ached, bone deep and constant, And there were days when exhaustion sat heavy in her limbs, no matter how much she slept. But moments like this, she held on to them with everything she had left. I'm gonna go do my homework now, Rumi said finally, breaking her out of her thoughts. She leaned over and pressed a small kiss to her mother's cheek, shy but deliberate. I love you. Myung let out a soft, watery laugh, one hand instinctively brushing at her eyes before she pulled her daughter into a brief hug. I love you too, sweetheart. Rumi grinned finally, pulling away and padding toward the door. I'll be in my room if you need anything, she called over her shoulder. Oh, that was Rumi. I'm so sorry. I'll be in my room if you need anything, she called over her shoulder, already half down the hall. Myung sat there for a long moment after the door closed, her hand resting lightly against her cheek, where Rumi's kiss had landed. She let out a shaky sigh, leaning back against the headboard, staring up at the ceiling as her chest tightened with everything she wasn't saying. Back in her room, Rumi sat hunched over her little desk, pencil tapping softly against the page as she finished the last question on her math homework. She always tried her best in school, not just for herself, but for her mom. She already had enough to deal with. Rumi figured if she did well, at least that was one less thing for her to worry about. Once she finished, she leaned back in her chair, stretching her arms with a small groan. She thought about grabbing one of her books to read before dinner when a soft knock came at the door. Rumi? She turned to see her mother leaning against the doorframe, a faint smile on her lips. Want to go get some ice cream? Rumi blinked, confused for a moment, like she'd misheard her. Are you sure? Myung chuckled faintly, nodding. I'm feeling a little better today. Always a bad sign, always a bad sign, always a bad sign. We can go to that place you're always talking about, the one down the street, right? Rumi's eyes widened, lighting up instantly. Can we really? Not if you keep sitting there. Rumi crooked a finger, beckoning her over. That was all it took. Rumi launched forward, wrapping her arms around her mom's waist in a tight hug before stumbling back and practically running to the front door. I think they'll have a flavor you like. You think so? Mm-hmm, Rumi mumbled, already down to tug on her sneakers, fingers fumbling with the laces. Guys, I keep feeling like I'm gonna burp. Oh, it feels so weird. Miyang moved slowly, unlocking the front door while Rumi bounced on her heels with when the door creaked open, Rumi slammed into her mother's automatically, and the two stepped outside together. The sun was warm, the pavement still holding on to the heat of the day. Cicadas hummed somewhere nearby, and the air smelled faintly of cut grass and something sweet from a Rumi swung their joined hands, almost skipping with each step. She tilted her head at her mom. You're gonna love it there. They have these tiny rainbow spoons, and everything smells like sugar. Mi Young smiled faintly, squeezing her hand. Sounds like a dream. And I have new flavors. I want to try the bubblegum one, but I bet you'll like the roasted sesame or the honey one. She is so my mom coded. What would my mom get? My mom would get something with walnuts. Walnuts? Walnuts and figs. Walnuts and figs. That's what my mom would get. mm, maybe. Myung's smile stayed soft, but her breath a little shorter than they'd been inside. The ache in her legs felt heavier today than she had expected, but she ignored it because Rumi's excitement was contagious, and she wanted this a moment of normalcy. dappled sunlight filtering through the trees on the street, and Rumi talked the entire way, voice bubbling with energy, about school, about the new book her teacher recommended, about the cat she saw lounging on the fence that morning. Miyang humming responses when needed, her hand holding Rumi's just a little tighter than usual. Then, up ahead, Rumi spotted the tiny pastel colored sign of the ice cream parlor. There, you see it? She pointed eagerly, tugging Miyang's hand forward as her pace picked up. It's right there. You're gonna love it, 엄마. Miyang chuckled softly, though her voice came out weaker than she intended. Will I now? Yes, come on, hurry. There's already a line. We can't let them eat all the ice cream before we get there. Rumi's laughter bubbled out as she tugged harder at her mother's hand, practically bouncing on her toes with each step. The warm spring air smelled faintly of honeysuckle, and the sun caught on the edges of her hair. Miyang tried to match her pace, tried to push through the ache crawling up her limbs, but her chest felt heavier with every breath. She coughed softly once again. Sorry. She coughed softly once, then again, the sound rougher this time, like something tearing. Rumi, she managed, voice low and uneven. Sweetie, can we slow down a little? But we're almost there, Rumi called back over her shoulder, her grin wide and unknowing. Look, they have benches, colorful ones. You can sit while I look at the menu, okay? Myung tried to smile back, tried to say something, but another cough stole the breath right out of her chest. Her legs felt unsteady, bones suddenly hollow, her body screaming at her to stop. Rumi, she gasped. She rasped, but her daughter's excitement drowned her out. Look! Rumi pointed toward the parlor up ahead, practically glowing with anticipation. They have new special flavors. I want to try. And then she let go of her mother's hand, sprinting the last stretch to the glass storefront. She pressed her nose to the flyer taped to the window, eyes sparkling. They have bubblegum swirl now and strawberry mochi. Oh my gosh, Mom, look! It was quiet. Too quiet. Mom? Rumi turned slightly, expecting to see her mother right behind her. Tired, maybe, but smiling. Always smiling. Wasn't there. Her gaze darted frantically left, right, until it landed on a crumpled shape just a few feet back on the sidewalk. Her mother, lying there. Mama? Rumi whispered, but it came out broken, half-breathed, her lungs. Her feet moved before she ran so hard her sneakers slapped against the pavement, too sharp in her ears. Mama! Gravel biting into her skin, her mother's shoulders, shaking, tugging, trying to pull her upright like that would fix it. Mama, wake up! Myung's face was pale, lips parted, each shallow breath shuddering like her lungs were fighting her. No, 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 no! Rumi shook her harder than she should have, sobs clawing up her throat. Her hands found her mother's and clutched tight, as if holding on hard enough could keep her anchored there, anchored here. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I should have slowed down. I'm sorry. Please, please, just. A stranger's voice broke through somewhere nearby, firm but calm. Someone call an ambulance! Another voice murmured gently behind her, telling her it was going to be okay, but Rumi couldn't hear it. All she could hear was the pounding of her heart and the ragged, uneven gasps leaving her mother's chest. When the sirens came, everything blurred. Hands pulled her back. Voices told her to breathe, to stay calm. But Rumi was choking on hiccuped sobs, trying to explain between broken words that she didn't mean to, that she just wanted ice cream, that she just wanted her mom to have a good day. She didn't know it was too much. Later in the hospital, she curled up on the bed beside her mother, her small frame tucked carefully against Myung's side, her mother's weak arm wrapped around her, stroking her hair, whispering hoarsely, "It's not your fault, Plum. I'm okay. You hear me? It's not your fault." But even as Rumi nodded, tears soaking through the blanket, she knew. She knew deep down her mother wasn't okay. Not really. And that was the day it hit her, sharper than anything ever had, that her mom might never get better. Great. I'm gonna blow my nose, y'all, because I am so congested. Ugh. The sun going down. All the tears in Boston say. There is no tears in Boston say. Do we think there is no Tooth Company in Boston say as well? Sure, Artie, congested. I really am. My ear did that thing. Oh my god. Oh, my ear. Oh no. My ear just cleared out, I feel like. There's no angst in Boston say. Oh, Artie, the chapter was posted. Toss you, multi-functioning queen. Okay, I think the nose is clear. The nostrils are clear. Oh my god. Oh, but my ears. My ears. Oh, oh god. Oh. Oh my god. I had like a pile of unions over there. I also realized I forgot to tweet out that I was live. Sorry, I just went on Twitter. And Vivi quote retweeted me because I made a tweet being like, everyone's dragging Cell for watching the movie only 11 times. I think I watched it 7 times in total. God forbid a girl's mind be rotten by the fanfiction instead. And Vivi from Twitter quote retweeted me being like, me personally, I haven't even seen the movie. I just saw Pretty Women. TBH, I do not know who any of these people or characters are. I only made this account to push the woke agenda I have. I do not watch movies. I do not consume content. I make it up. I love Vivi so much. I think she's so funny. Artie, my heart, Artie. See, the reason why we take breaks is to like laugh about funny stuff instead of crying. Okay, chapter 34 out now. I'm gonna tweet out something. Toss, Toss, oh god. Toss releasing chapter 34, right? Well, I'm on live. Perfect timing. It's gonna be a long day, y'all. Oh shit. Where's the nod? Okay. I think several people left to go read it. Oh damn. That's fair. Already cheating with the read breaks. I am. I fully am. But I have to take a break. Like I can't keep reading, especially when I'm sick. Fuck, I also need to really control my swearing, but like we're not doing that anytime soon. Okay. Okay. We're back, y'all. We're so back. I just got back from work, got the live notification while at work. Hello, first time watching live. Oh my god, there are 4 people watching on YouTube. Hi, everyone. The advantage to watching on YouTube is that I screen share. on YouTube, so you can like follow me as I read. Just saying it, just putting it out there. And my Wi-Fi is working. I'm waiting for you to. Okay, let's finish. Let's finish this so y'all don't. Yeah. And we can just read it together. Okay. Okay, we're back at the therapist's office. I still think it was my fault, Rumi whispered, her voice cracking under the weight of it. Her fingers twisted tightly in the fabric of her pants, knuckles white from the pressure. That maybe if I hadn't been rushing, if I hadn't been pulling her along that day, maybe everything would have been different. No, girl, it wouldn't have. Rumi, the queen of blaming herself for everything. Her throat burned as the words tumbled out, raw and unfiltered. It hurt. God, it hurts so much. She breathed out, the tears streaming freely now. Watching her slowly become a shell of herself, watching the light leave her eyes a little more every single day, and not being able to do a thing about it. Her voice wavered, breaking on the edges of the sentence. I was right there, and I couldn't save her. She dragged the back of her palms across her face, but it didn't stop the tears. I kept telling myself I had the time, Rumi continued, her tone bitter now, almost angry at herself. Time to grieve, to process, to make peace with it. But then there are days like this, days where it feels like no time has passed at all. And it just hits me out of nowhere how much I miss her. She sucked in a shaky breath, but it came out as a broken sob. And then there are the other days, she whispered, where it's not sadness, it's anger, it's fury. Her voice rose with every word, frustration spilling over like boiling water. I get so mad at the world for taking her away from me. Why her? She was good. She was kind. She was amazing, and she deserved so much more than this. Why my mom? Her hands gripped at her thighs so tightly it hurt, nails digging into the fabric. Why couldn't it have been anyone else? Her voice cracked harshly this time, the sound ripping from her chest. What did my mom do to deserve that? She crumbled, shoulders curling inward into the fabric of her shirt. For a moment, the room was quiet except for the uneven sound of her breathing. Dr. Yun stayed silent, giving her space, letting the weight of her words sit instead of rushing to soothe them away. When she finally spoke, her voice was soft but steady. Rumi? She began gently, leaning forward a little in her chair. I hear how much you're carrying right now. The pain, the guilt, the anger. It's a lot. And it's okay that it's a lot. Rumi sniffled, still staring down at her knees, shoulders trembling. You keep talking about that day, Dr. Yoon continued, and how you think it was your fault. Like if you just walked slower, pulled her less, done something different, you could have saved her. She let that thought linger for a moment, watching Rumi's expression. But can I ask you something? Rumi hesitated, then nodded faintly. If a friend of yours told you the exact same story, that their mom got sick, that their mom collapsed, that their mom passed away because of an illness they couldn't control, would you tell them it was your fault? It was their fault? Rumi blinked, startled. Her throat tightened as she shook her head weakly. No, of course not. Why not? Dr. Yoon's tone was gentle, but pointed. Because Rumi swallowed hard, voice trembling. Because it's not their fault. Dr. Yoon nodded softly, tilting her head slightly. And yet you hold yourself to a different standard. You blame yourself for things you couldn't possibly control. Rumi wiped at her cheeks, frustrated with herself. But I was there. I was the one rushing her. I should have noticed how tired she was. Rumi? Dr. Yoon interrupted softly but firmly. You were a child. Her words were deliberate, steady, like she wanted Rumi to actually hear them this time. You weren't her doctor. You weren't responsible for her illness or her body or what happened to her. That broke something in Rumi. Her lips trembled, and another sob escaped her before she buried her face in her hands. Dr. Yoon let her cry for a few moments, giving her silence to breathe in, then added quietly, the anger you feel, the sadness, both are real, both are valid. Grief doesn't follow a timeline and it doesn't fit into neat little boxes. Sometimes it comes out as tears, sometimes it comes out as rage. Neither one means you're broken. It just means you loved her deeply. Rumi hiccuped softly, trying to calm her breathing. Missing her? Dr. Yoon said carefully, doesn't mean you failed to move on. And loving her doesn't mean you have to stay stuck in this pain forever. It just means she mattered. She still does. For the first time in the session, Rumi looked up, eyes red and glassy. But what do I do with all of it? She whispered, voice hoarse. The guilt, the anger, the missing her? Dr. Yoon leaned back slightly, folding her hands in her lap. You let yourself feel it when it comes. You talk about her. You remember her. You hold space for the sorry. You hold space for the good memories without letting the illness erase who she was to you. And little by little, we'll work on forgiving someone who deserves forgiveness here. Rumi blinked, her damp lashes sticking together. Who? Dr. Yoon smiled softly, tilting her head just slightly. You, she said simply. Line break. Um, the fact that this is actually good therapy. Here's the thing with the therapy breaks. I feel this with If It's Nice Do It Thrice also. When it's like when we get breaks for like therapy sessions and these fix, I feel like that calms me down. Like that heals me. Like I'm not sad right now. I'm like it wasn't your fault. It is healing, 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 healing. Bye, Aitlin. It's late over there. Go do your stuff. So soft. I'm in pain. My heart. It's gonna be fine. She's gonna be fine. Uh, yes, you get me. Also, my friends are in the living room right next to me. I hope that they're not too noisy because they're like yelling sometimes. Good night, Ash. Okay. The word. Oh, okay. The word hit Rumi like a weight she didn't realize she was carrying until it knocked the breath out of her. Her chest rose and fell in uneven bursts. Dr. Yoon softened further. What happened wasn't in your control. Her illness wasn't something you caused. But I think part of you still believes you failed her somehow. The dam cracked. Rumi buried her face in her hands, shoulders trembling. I did, she croaked out between shallow breaths. I wasn't enough. I couldn't save her. I just watched her fade, and there was nothing I could do, nothing I could fix. Dr. Yoon let her cry for a moment, just listening. When she spoke again, her tone was measured and grounding. Sometimes, Rumi, there isn't anything to fix. Sometimes the hardest thing we'll ever face is loving someone we can't save. Why did you say that? Okay. The silence that followed stretched thin, and Rumi's breaths came shaky and uneven. And forgiveness? Dr. Yoon continued gently, isn't about excusing what happened. It's about giving yourself permission to stop bleeding over it. It's about looking at that little girl who just wanted ice cream with her mom that day and saying, I forgive you for not being able to change the unchangeable. Rumi bit her lip until she tasted copper, tears pooling hot and heavy. I don't. It's okay, Dr. Yoon said softly. For a moment, Rumi just nodded to breathe through the tightness in her chest. Then, instantly, she said, after she passed, the whole thing with Celine happened, the stuff I've told you before. Dr. Yoon's expressive but cautious. Rumi nodded. I'd been avoiding her calls and texts, but she showed up anyway. She she gave me this box of photos of me and my mom, and the camcorder had this video of her talking to me, the future me. Her voice trembled on the last words, quiet but full of weight. She hesitated before continuing, jaw tightening. I confronted her about it, asked her why she'd kept it from me all these years. She apologized. Rumi's laugh came out harsh, bitter, broken, if you can even call it that. It was messy and complicated, like everything with her is. Dr. Yoon leaned in slightly, her voice soft. Messy? How? Rumi hesitated, trying to find the words. She told me she'd found it again, that she'd lost herself after my mom died, and that she admitted she failed me. She said she didn't know how to take care of me, so she didn't even try. Then that she let her grief turn her into someone cruel. I love how Two's Company handles Celine. Yeah, the words tasted sour in her mouth. I hate her, Rumi said suddenly, voice sharp, as if cutting the air, then softer, weaker. But I don't. Not completely. And I hate that I don't. Dr. Yoon gave her a quiet moment before speaking, her tone cool and steady. That's because you feel what you feel for Celine isn't one thing, it's everything. Love, anger, grief, longing, all tangled together. That's why it feels so unbearable sometimes. Rumi's lip trembled. I don't know how to move forward. I don't know if I'm supposed to forgive her or cut her off or something else entirely. Dr. Yoon nodded slowly. Maybe it isn't about choosing one or the other right now. Maybe it's about letting both truths exist at once. Rumi blinked at her. Both? You can be furious at what she did to you, Dr. Yoon explained gently, and still ache for the connection you lost. You can love pieces of her and despise others. You can keep her close and set boundaries at the same time. There's no one right way to grieve a complicated relationship. Rumi stared at the floor, tears welling again, but this time they didn't burn as sharply. It just hurts, she whispered. I know, Dr. Yoon said softly, and it will. But pain doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're healing something that's been bleeding for a very long time. For the first time since the session began, Rumi let out a shaky laugh, though it was small and cracked. You make it sound easier than it is. Dr. Yoon smiled faintly. No, she said. I make it sound possible. Rumi nodded slowly, taking the words in. Her voice was soft, hesitant, like she was saying it more to herself than to Dr. Yoon. I've thought about calling her since that night, she admitted. To talk, to. She swallowed hard, lowering her gaze, to see where this is between us goes. She let out a shaky breath, her shoulders curling inward. But I get scared. Every time I think about it, my chest gets tight and I freeze. I don't even know what I'd say if she picked up. I don't know if I want to forgive her or yell at her or just sit there and say nothing. Her voice cracked a little. I thought maybe I should just get over it, get it over with. Go see her, face it. Dr. Yoon tilted her head slightly, studying her with that soft, deliberate pace she always had. That sounds like a lot of tangled feelings, she said gently. Rumi let out a humorless laugh. That's one way to put it. Resting her elbows on her knees. Can I ask you something? Rumi nodded faintly. Sure seeing her, Dr. Yoon said softly. What's the part that scares you the most? Rumi hesitated, thinking. Her throat tightened, just trying to put it into words. That I'll see her and I'll want things to be better, but they won't be, she whispered. That I'll leave feeling just as broken as I did before, or worse. Dr. Yu nodded slowly, letting that sit in the air for a moment. That's a very real fear, she said, and I think it's important to honor that before you decide anything. Rumi shifted in her seat, fiddling with her finger. But if I keep avoiding her, I'm stuck, she murmured. I'm so tired of feeling stuck. Dr. Yoon gave a small, reassuring smile. Then maybe this isn't about forcing an answer, Rumi. It's about creating an opportunity. Seeing Celine doesn't mean deciding everything right now. It doesn't mean forgiving her today or rebuilding years of hurt in one afternoon. It just means showing up, seeing her as she is, seeing yourself as who you are, and then choosing what comes next. Rumi blinked, absorbing that. So I don't have to know what I want from her yet? You don't, Dr. Yoon confirmed gently. You're allowed to walk into that space without expectations. You're allowed to leave with more questions than answers. The goal isn't closure, it's understanding. Understanding her, understanding yourself. That's what will help you move forward, one step at a time. Rumi let out a slow breath she hadn't realized she was holding. I think I can do that, she said quietly, almost like she was testing the words on her tongue. I think you can too, Dr. Yoon said warmly. But before you go, I want you to set one boundary for yourself. Rumi glanced up, brow furrowed. Boundary? Yes, Dr. Yoon said, her tone gentle but firm. Decide ahead of time that you won't let happen, what you won't let happen in that conversation. If she raises her voice, if she blames you, if she says small, you get to walk away. You don't owe her staying power if it comes at the cost of her peace. Period. Period. If it comes at the cost of your peace, I think I said her, if it comes at the cost of your peace. Rumi hesitated, then nodded slowly. Okay. And one more thing, Dr. Yoon added, softer now. No matter what happens, Rumi, you've already survived the hardest parts. What happens next isn't about surviving anymore. It's about living. That means choosing what you need, even when it feels messy or complicated. Something in Rumi's chest loosened at that, and for the first time all session, her shoulders dropped just a little. Living, she echoed under her breath, like she was trying to believe it. Dr. Yoon smiled faintly. Exactly. She glanced at the clock before leaning back. I think that's a good place to pause for today. Rumi nodded, wiping her cheeks again, but this time the tears felt lighter somehow. Yeah, she said quietly. I think so too. And for the first time in weeks, she walked out of the office, not with answers, but with permission to find them. I like that sentence a lot. I like that sentence a lot. The notes. Hi, how are we feeling after that? I'm feeling fine because Dr. Yoon provided therapy for me. I'm feeling fine. Didn't want to bunch all of it up in one chapter, so I decided to split it because it was two different things with Rumi. And yeah, next part should be out tomorrow, aka today. Um, let's go, baby. Let's go to the next chapter, baby. Because we have the next chapter. Teehee, teehee, teehee. I swear, Toss either has an amazing therapist helping write this, or they're themselves my. I know that Toss is in school. I don't know what she's studying though. Maybe it is psychology. I don't know. Double chapter live stream. And we finished at the 2 hour mark, which was my goal. How many words is this chapter? Let me see. Let me go to my. I don't see the word count here. I know it's longer than the previous chapter. But yeah. Hello, fellow tubers. Oh no, baby. I'm reading the YouTube comments now. I've never been to therapy, but this seems like a good and healing thing. Plus, I'm just feeling called out all the time. No, real. Well, that was a burp. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all are just gonna have to deal with it. When she was talking about Celine and like 19K, 19K is so long. 19K is long as hell, Toss. Can we take a music break, please? 19K is. You said 12 to 15. I can go into like worst case scenario. I meant to add the plus. That's so funny. This was like, I see Jamie is writing like 20K plus chapters. I'm gonna write a 20K chapter. Is this your longest chapter for Two's Company? That it might be. How many hours is that? I don't know what your time zone is. It's 4 hours. I don't know if I can get 19K in 3 hours. I think I'm at the 2K now, currently reading now. Okay. Music break, please, for our sake. Already, what's the it? And I can barely write like 3 to 4K chapters. Already, I'm struggling, and I know you're struggling. 3 hours from now will be 3 a.m. I'm so sorry, Red. Yeah, you are 5 hours ahead because Scotland. Damn, one of my favorite fic updates is only like 10K every like 2-3 days. Every 2-3 days, 10K is pretty good. Longest I've ever done was 8K, and that took me weeks. The autism on me wants to now draw those on top of my current 5 works in progress. Real. Yeah. Let's do a music break. Let's do a music break. There are 5 people on the YouTube now. Wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. I'm gonna check Twitter real quick. Teehee teehee. Don't strain your voice. If I do feel tired, I will stop. I'm gonna check my calendar because I do have work tomorrow. But it's okay. I have work at 11:30, so I don't have to wake up super early. I was worried that it was like an 8 a.m. shift. It's not. So I can go on. Hee 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 hee. Teehee teehee teehee. I love being I love ignoring my responsibilities. I'm reading fiction. Don't be sorry I didn't get to sleep till 8 a.m. I don't sleep at night. That's why I'm always active when you're around. Are we still reading TC? Yes, because new chapter came out, and let's read the summary real quick, and then I'll do a music break. Wait, next chapter. The next chapter is called Mended Bonds, Part 2. Summary. Rumi goes to see Celine. Did you see how my face dropped? Did you see how my face dropped? Oh, great. Me when I see Celine, this bitch again. Again, as I've said, I have complicated feelings. Don't fucking burn me. Don't roast me for having complicated feelings about Celine. Because people love to be Celine defenders. I shudder in the fear. Shudder in fear at the sentence Rumi goes to see Celine. I actually love Celine's character. Celine, here's my thing. Celine is Pearl from Steven Universe. Even though I have more complicated feelings about Celine than I do Pearl. She's a really good character. She is a character that makes you think, which I really appreciate. I just think that what she did kind of outweighs the good parts. That's what I think. Don't come for me. The last thing I read is more emotional damage, guy. The last thing I need. Yes, that is so true. I've never connected those dots. Oh, the Pearl thing? Oh, I've been saying that Celine gives Pearl vibes since the beginning, baby. Celine as a character is truly very important to me. She will eventually try to make up for everything in my fic in like 100 chapters. No, that's the thing. Because I do think she genuinely cares for them. Like, she cares about Rumi, cares about all of them. Like, in the movie, like, in this case, it would be Rumi. She genuinely cares, I think. But her actions are a bit... they're bad. Remember, if you hate the characters, sometimes they were well written. Exactly. Hating the character means the writers and actors done their job right. That is a thing that actors love to say. Like, it's either it's either like one of the compliments that actors get is like I hated your character so much, good job, if they're playing like villains. But sometimes, but you do have to sympathize with your character. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go on an acting rant. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm gonna go on an acting rant. There are some actors, I have worked with some actors who will be like, who will speak about their character, the character they're playing, in negative terms. Like, I don't like my character. My character does this. Like, my character is a bad person. No, you have to defend your character. They might be the shittiest person alive. You have to defend your character, or else you'll never get to like do your job right. Leave the hating to the audience. Don't do the hating yourself. I'm gonna turn on the lights. Sorry, I just needed to get that out there because that bothers me so much. The light isn't yellow anymore, guys. I'm so happy to be back in my old lighting. The best reference for that for me was Umbridge from Harry Potter. Real. I'm just happy to be here, but gosh, I wish I didn't have to be deaf every time. Love a good acting rant. I do love a pure evil villain. Don't get me wrong, but okay, let's listen to something, y'all. Give me fluffy song requests before we dive in. Hardy for Artie. I just read a phrase in the news chapter. I'm what? One more week. Reef, one more week. Let's play something from I'm on EJ's playlist right now. Icky. EJ is so talented. Like, what do you mean you did all of these? I want to kiss a girl. So real. Always. Also, I am dying because I'm on EJ's profile on Spotify right now, and her playlist with the songs with songs with her having a songwriting with an EJ songwriting credit is titled "Songs I Wrote." Smiley face. I love EJ so much. I love EJ so much. Okay, let's play. If I play OO, would y'all hate me? I really like Dice. I can't believe EJ did OO. That's wild. I'll play Dice because I love Dice, and Dice is like high energy and it's cute. I also love NMIX. They're so talented. I also love the choreography. I used to be obsessed with this song before I knew of EJ. This is Dice. Dice by NMIX. What is it? I have a playlist of NMIX tunes. Oh, let's big way, big way. I love this song. It's so fun. She keeps me asleep. Whoa. I have a playlist on Spotify with all the songs I have played on live, to my knowledge. This is the actual song. That's their thing. It sounds like a mashup of songs. They they they, they do a change up in most of their songs. That's kind of their brand. With NMIX. That's why their name is NMIX because they mix up different like genres in one song. I'm gonna link to live in Ray on Discord one day. Are you allowed to do that in Ray's Discord? Because I think I saw that promotion is not allowed. Self promotion or like any promotion. Anyways, that's Dice. It's a very fun song. I didn't play OO because OO is NMIX's debut and it's very polarizing. I have fun with it, but yeah, I don't think you can promote stuff on Ray's Discord. But like if you can, go for it, I guess. Um what if I put this is Ray's Discord public? Can someone link it to me? The link on her YouTube, it don't work. Um, I have the link. I can like send it to you on Discord. Like I am in the Discord. I am in Ray's Discord. I'm not on there much, just because like I'm not very active on Discord, but I can send it to you. Just like remind me if I forget. How many authors have you collected here so far? In the chat, um, uh, Toss, Demo, Cell, Reef. I think at least like the main ones. Because like I have obviously like I have Rose who's also an author. Um, I don't know if Red's an author. I know Red has an AO3. Like Bald Zoe Jabwalki is an author. So like everyone, the thing is when you say how many authors you have connected, a lot of people are authors. And sometimes I just don't know that they are, or like I haven't read their stuff. Um, you are Red, right, right, right. Gotcha. Let's see if I can put this over here to get more lights. Wait, I'm a genius. Oh, wait, guys. We might be so back with the lighting. I love having a properly working ring light. I just haven't posted my main fic yet, just one shots. I see. Okay. We got colors, but we're just gonna do. Okay. Okay, let's do that. I have light on me. We have colors. Disco. Um, I'll just do. Wait. Wait, girl. Now I'm confusion. Okay. That should be nice. Ooh, I don't like that hue. I have so many color options on this ring light. Okay, that works. Rainbows. I think a lot of us write stuff, but we have a lot of the Polytrix royalty here. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like Polytrix royalty. I don't know. It feels weird to call anyone royalty. That's why I feel weird when you guys are like, "Oh my god, you're the Polytrix captain." Like I appreciate it. It just feels a little weird. Um but I do appreciate it. Okay, y'all. I think let's jump into this. Oh, I might need to renew. Should I do that? I also probably need to eat. You should get a sunset lamp. I is that the one? No, that's the one. Is that the one that replicates like the light of the sun depending on the time or not? Go get water and food. Danny is being my parent right now, which I appreciate. I might do that because we are reading chapter 34 of Two's Company that just came out, and I might need to go off and get water. Will you guys wait? Artie, darling, please take care of yourself. Okay, I'll go for you, Red, and for you, Danny, and no one else. I'm just kidding. Enjoy my messy room. What are you Thank you. 19K chapter, here we go. Okay. I got snackies. We should all be perfectly polite just to utterly confuse her when she gets back. What are you saying? I am reading the new chapter of Two's Company that just came out. I just finished reading the previous one. I have an apple as a snack, and I'll be something to do with my hands. Ooh, snack reveal. 19,000 words. Yeah. Oh, the Discord started making noise. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. I have apple and I have peanut butter to dip it into. 19 words of gold from Toss. Okay. If you haven't read it, then reel in, baby, because we're reading it right now. Would y'all be mad if I just read it while playing the apple? An apple? An orange nation? This is blasphemy. Um, I didn't have oranges. I'm sorry. I had, oh my god, thank you. I had tangerines, but I finished them. How long is the Bible? I need to compare. I don't know. But Two's Company is long as hell. I'm pretty sure it's like it might be over 1,000 pages right now. Thank you. You just finished it, Nat. That was quick. All of the people who like follow me are like crazy quick readers, and I'm just like, the Discord keeps pinging. Shut up. Peace and love. Peace and love. Take mine, Artie. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. We're starting. Summary. Rumi goes to see Celine. Notes, trigger warning, mention self-harming. Um, which we should know, because Two's Company, it's Two's Company. Mention self-harming. Okay. Rumi sighed softly. I'm gonna keep doing this. Rumi sighed softly, squeezing a small dollop of lavender scented lotion into her palm. She rubbed it slowly into her arms, letting the familiar scent drift up and settle around her like a fragile shield. Lavender. Her mom used to keep a little sachet of it by her bed, said it helped her sleep, helped her breathe. Sometimes Rumi swore the smell still made her chest ache a little. She took her time with it, working the lotion into her skin until there was nothing left to rub in, anything to avoid thinking too hard about what came next. But the weight of it pressed down on her anyway. The thought of walking into Celine's place, of facing everything that waited there. A quiet groan slipped out as she flopped back onto her bed, the mattress dipping under her. Her half packed bag lay open on the floor, a messy pile of clothes spilling out like it was mocking her hesitation. She wasn't ready. She didn't want to go. She tucked a pillow beneath her chin and hugged it close, trying to fold herself into something smaller, something that could hide. In moments like this, she wanted comfort more than anything, but the only people who could give her that weren't here. Her chest tightened painfully at the thought, an ache that bloomed beneath her ribs and spread like wildfire. Without thinking, she reached for her phone, unlocking it with practice swipe and scrolling straight to their group chat. The one place that always felt safe. Please tell me we get to see the silly ass messages. Give me silly, silly messages. Please, please. Zoe, Mira. She stared at their names for a long second, thumb hovering above the screen, before finally pressing the video call button. She didn't know what she was going to say. She just wanted to hear their voices. The call rang once, twice. Rumi was about to convince herself that no one would pick up when her screen finally lit up. Mira answered first. It had been a while since Rumi had actually seen her face. They still texted back and forth, sure, but texts weren't the same. Not when the last time she'd really looked at Mira was weeks ago, when things had felt less messy, less complicated. Her breath caught without meaning to. Weeks ago? How many weeks have they been apart? I'm guessing less than a month, but like a few weeks, okay. Her breath caught without meaning to. Mira's hair was a chaotic mess, sticking up in all directions, like she'd just rolled out of bed. The camera angle was slightly tilted up, and the familiar pale blue of her bathroom bathroom walls, sat behind her. Her eyes looked heavy, lids still puffy from sleep. Rumi? Mira's voice came low and scratchy, thick with sleep. Something in Rumi's chest eased instantly. She didn't realize how much she'd missed that sound until now. It made her smile without thinking, her face half buried into her pillow, cheeks heating like she was a little girl again with a ridiculous crush. Hi, she whispered back, suddenly shy. Rumi flicked her gaze to the corner of the screen, checking the time. Barely past 1 in the afternoon. Not exactly early. Wait, did I wake you up? Mira blinked slowly, processing the question, then leaned back slightly. That's when Rumi noticed something white behind her. Her lips twitched. Are you in the bathroom? Oh my god, am I interrupting your toilet time? Mira let out a small, ungraceful snort, shaking her head as she rubbed her face with one hand. No, you're fine. You sure? Because Rumi, Mira drawled, leveling her with a bleary, pointed look. You're fine. Rumi shut her mouth, lips curving into a quiet smile. There was something about the way Mira said her name, like it pulled her back down to earth every time. Mira stared at her screen for a long moment, and Rumi could feel her being looked at, taken in from head to toe. It made her cheeks burn hotter. You look pretty, Mira murmured suddenly, voice soft and unguarded, like it slipped out before she thought about it. Rumi froze, then ducked her face deeper into the pillow, hiding her smile like a kid caught doing something embarrassing. You can't just say things like that, she mumbled, voice muffled. Mira hummed, the faintest ghost of a grin tugging at her lips. Why not? It's true. Rumi felt her ears heat up and cleared her throat, trying for composure and failed miserably. Thank you, she managed, finally peeking back up at the screen. You look. Her gaze flicked over Mira's messy hair and sleepy face, but the words came out before she could second guess herself. You look good. Mira snorted, tossing her head back slightly. Oh, fuck you. I know I look like shit right now. You don't, Rumi huffed, half laughing. You look good, like in a disheveled, bedheady, sleepy gremlin sort of way. Mira narrowed her eyes, lips twitching despite herself. Romantic. It's a compliment, Rumi defended, chuckling softly. There was a pause where they just looked at each other, and for a moment, it was almost like time stilled. Rumi missed this, missed seeing the little things a text couldn't capture. The way Mira's sleepy gaze softened when she was relaxed, the faint rasp still clinging to her voice. How easy it felt, just being with her like this. Mira yawned softly, rubbing at her eyes again. I've been catching up on sleep, she admitted, voice quieter now, which means I end up oversleeping since I don't have to wake up early to cook anymore. That made me sad just now. Her tone dipped slightly on that last part. Casual, but not really. Rumi's smile faltered. Because of everything? She asked softly. Mira hesitated, then nodded once. Yeah, routine's kind of fucked now. A small sigh slipped out before she could stop it. Feels weird. Rumi hugged her pillow tighter against her chest, her throat tightening a little. She wanted to reach through the screen, take Mira's hand, and tell her it was okay to feel like this. But instead, she just nodded slowly. She was about to say something else, maybe ask Mira if she'd eaten yet, or if she was feeling any better, when suddenly the screen split and another face popped up. Zoe! She sat curled up in a sleek white gaming chair. Zoe a gamer in every universe. big clunky headphones hugging her head, and a microphone angled toward her mouth. The blue LED lights flashing above her cast soft streaks across her skin, making her look both impossibly awake and impossibly tired all at once. She decided to stay with Mystery for a while. Rumi remembered that much. Zoe had texted something vague about not wanting to stay at Ginu's with her, since Mira was by herself back at home. It's only fair if I'm lonely too, she joked. But actually seeing her now, framed by the glow of her setup, sent a strange jolt through Rumi's chest she wasn't prepared for. Rumi blinked at her screen like she was still processing who'd called, then smiled, soft, tentative, the kind of smile that always felt like it held a thousand unspoken things. Hey, she breathed out, voice almost small under the faint background noise of her mic. Her gaze flicked between them, back and forth, like she wasn't sure where to land. Mira recovered first, giving a small, sleepy smile. Hi. Rumi, meanwhile, suddenly forgot how to exist. There was this weird heaviness she wasn't used to carrying. Not bad, exactly, but full. She'd missed Zoe. She missed both of them. And now that they were here on her screen, looking back at her, it made her feel like she wanted to laugh and cry at the same time. Before she could stop herself, words tumbled out, messy. Mira's on the toilet! Mira turned her head so fast it was almost comedic, blinking at her with a flat, unimpressed look. Excuse me? Rumi's face burned instantly. I didn't mean it like that. She buried her face in her pillow again, muffling the rest of her explanation. Zoe let out a soft chuckle. The sound warm and familiar, her smile breaking wider across her face. Mira, are you pooping right now? Mira groaned, dragging a hand down her face. Oh my god, leave me alone. That only made Zoe laugh harder, her giggles cracking faintly through. It was the same bright, bubbly sound Rumi had missed without realizing it, the kind of laugh that curled in her chest and made something in her soften. For the first time in what felt like weeks, she smiled without forcing it. What are you playing? Rumi asked after a beat, hearing the soft clack, clack, clack of a keyboard on Zoe's end. Zoe kept glancing between the call and her monitor, eyebrows furrowed like she was hyper focused on something just above the camera. Zoe blinked, then smiled sheepishly. Oh, Roblox, she chirped, light and casual. I'm playing Escape from McDonald's Obby. There was a pause before Mira snorted, low and amused. Of course you're playing a food hobby. Zoe gasped dramatically, spinning in her chair just enough to face her camera, eyes wide like Mira had just committed an unforgivable crime. Excuse me? And what is that supposed to mean? She gestured vaguely off screen, all mock offense. Go fix your hair, bedhead. Mira hummed lazily, running a hand through the mess of pick strands without actually fixing anything. I still eat, though, she countered, voice rough from sleep, but smug enough to make Zoe narrow her eyes. Oh, you do? Zoe mumbled, leaning over to grab her phone. Cool, let me just, yeah, hold still. She tapped it perfectly. Perfect. Screenshots acquired. Mira squinted suspiciously. Did you just take a picture of me? Several, Zoe replied without shame, grinning at something on her phone. Okay, so what does this look called? Bird's nest chic? Tornado aftermath? Wind tunnel vibes? Mira turned her head slightly, chin lifting just enough to sell it. Oh, this? She said with a lazy flick of her fingers through her tangled hair. Nothing special. I call it. She paused for dramatic effect, smirking faintly. Haute Couture by Pillow, limited edition. Zoe clapped her hands once, mock serious. Iconic. Absolutely groundbreaking. Fashion Week's quaking. She giggled, spinning her chair back toward her game, fingers resuming their quick rhythm over her keyboard. On Rumi's end, the sound of their voices overlapped. Zoe's warm laughter mixing with Mira's soft, sleepy scoff, and she couldn't help but smile into her pillow. Something in her chest eased, tension she hadn't realized she'd been carrying melting away. She let out a small breath, blinking at them. Her thumb fiddled with the corner of her pillowcase, twisting the fabric between her fingers. So, Rumi hesitated, eyes dropping to the blanket bunched in her lap. I, I'm going over to Celine's later. There was a beat of silence on the call. Mira, who'd been lazily combing her fingers through her tangled hair, stilled. Her brows drew together faintly, her sleepy expression sharpening just a little. Celine's? She repeated softly, careful with her tone. Rumi nodded slowly, chewing on the inside of her cheek. Yeah, Dr. Yoon and I talked about it, and she thinks it might be good for me to try. To. Her voice faltered, fingers clenching slightly around the pillow. See her start something, whatever this new thing between us is supposed to be. Zoe shifted in her chair, finally pulling her eyes away from the game to focus fully on Rumi. The soft blue LED lights made her face look calmer than usual, but her expression was anything but. There was an edge of worry beneath it. Are you sure you're ready for that? She asked gently. I don't know. Rumi's laugh came out brittle. I think so. Maybe. I've been avoiding her for so long, and I keep telling myself I want closure, but I'm scared. She paused, letting the word hang heavy between them. What if it's awful? What if she says something and I just. Her throat tightened. I don't know. Mira leaned forward slightly, bracing her elbows on her knees, eyes steady on the screen. Then you leave, she said simply, like it was the easiest thing in the world. If it's too much, you don't have to stay and sit through it just to prove something. Rumi blinked at her, the weight of Mira's words sinking in slow. Zoe nodded immediately, spinning once in her chair before stopping just to make sure Rumi was still looking at her. Exactly. And if she says anything shitty, she snapped her fingers like loading a gun. You FaceTime us and we'll personally drag her. I'll even hop on Roblox and build a whole obby dedicated to dunking on her. I don't know what an obby is. I don't play Roblox. But I believe you. Um, Rumi let out a tiny laugh despite herself, shoulders loosening a fraction. I'm serious, Rue. Zoe's voice softened on the nickname, her gaze locking on the camera. You're not alone in this, okay? Not even a little bit. Mira nodded, chin propped against her palm. We'll be here when you get back, she added quietly. You can call us right after if you need to. Rumi swallowed hard, blinking away the sudden sting in her eyes. The air around her chest felt lighter somehow, like the knot there had loosened just a little. Thanks, she whispered, voice small but sincere. Really, both of you. Zoe smiled softly. Mira gave the smallest nod, and for a moment, even through a screen, Rumi didn't feel so scared anymore. The moment was then violently interrupted by by a rather loud fart. Immediate silence. Rumi froze mid breath, eyes widening slightly as the sound echoed from her phone. She slowly, very slowly, spared a glance at her phone screen, at Mira specifically. Mira's face was completely red, the reddest Rumi had ever seen. Her mouth opened, then closed, like she was physically malfunctioning. God forbid a girl farts. No, the life cut off. Oh no. I hope we're good right now. Someone should build a twos company, Roblox. I don't know what that means, y'all. What does that mean? Um, Mm-hmm. This is so funny. Zoe had both hands clamped over her mouth, shoulders shaking violently, her wide eyes darting between Rumi and Mira like she was physically fighting the urge to combust. Mira? Rumi started cautiously, her voice barely above a whisper. Did you? That was all it took. Zoe exploded. She threw her head back, wheezing, slapping the desk with one hand so hard the camera wobbled. Oh my god! She gasped between each cackle, curling forward like she was trying to breathe and failing spectacularly. Rumi blinked, her lips twitching despite herself, and then a soft giggle escaped before she could stop it. She buried her face in her pillow, trying to muffle the sound, but it only made her laugh harder. Mira's entire expression contorted in horror. Don't, Mira sputtered. Sorry, don't, Mira sputtered, her voice unusually high pitched. I don't know what's high pitched for Mira. Cheeks blazing. Don't laugh at me. Oh my god! Zoe wheezed, tears streaming down her cheeks as she grabbed at her stomach. I can't! She slapped her desk again. I can't breathe! No way! Rumi got out between tiny hiccup giggles, her cheeks aching. Mira groaned loudly, pressing both palms over her burning face. You guys are so mean, she croaked, practically curling into herself. You know how my stomach gets when I first wake up. Judy booty! Zoe suddenly screamed, throwing her head back as she slapped her knee like some kind of cartoon grandpa. That sent Ruby over the edge. She let out this sharp, ugly snort mid laugh, instantly hiding her face in horror while Zoe nearly fell out of her chair from laughing even harder. Shut up, Mira cried, voice cracking from embarrassment, her hand flying up to cover her face. It's it's a normal human bodily function, okay? You guys are so immature. Oh, totally. Zoe rasped, gasping for breath. Completely normal, Mira. Nothing abnormal about Sunday like a duck getting stepped on. That killed Rumi. She choked on her laughter, wheezing as she hugged her pillow to her chest. Stop, Zoe. Oh my god, stop. You're killing me. Zoe hiccuped mid laugh, leaning forward like she just discovered air for the first time. Baby girls out here speedrunning the McDonald's obby in real life, she teased, gasping dramatically for breath. Rumi was crying now, wiping at her eyes as she finally managed to catch a breath. Mira, oh my god, you. She cut herself off, snickering again. Silent but violent who? I hate I hate both of you. Mira's voice cracked halfway through the sentence, making it sound less threatening and more like a squeaky toy. Then click. Her camera turned off, her mic muted. The screen switched to the contact photo Rumi had made for her, a blurry candid of Mira squinting into the sun while holding boba. Zoe immediately straightened, still half laughing as she wiped her damp cheeks. Wait, no, Mir, come back! She pleaded, scooting her chair closer to the desk like proximity would somehow fix this. Yeah, come back! Rumi chimed in softly, her giggles fading into a warm little smile. We're sorry. Silence. Zoe leaned dangerously close to her webcam, clasping her hands together in mock prayer. She crooned, voice dripping with fake drama. Mira! Rumi joined in, dragging against her pillow like low break. I've just been reading. Uh-oh, the life froze. Oh, never mind, it's back. No, not the lag. I'm so sorry. I feel called out. This sounds like my laugh. I'm choking on my food. They're so silly. God forbid a girl has to fart. God forbid. Okay. Okay. For a moment, nothing. Then Mira's voice came through, muffled but firm. I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. Zoe slapped the desk again. Mira, come on, don't be a little turtle in your shell, she teased, laughter still bubbling at the edges of her voice. We'll be nice, promise. I don't believe you, Mira muttered faintly before muting herself again. Rumi sighed, smiling into her pillow despite herself. Mira, she whined softly, half pleading, half amused. Her shoulders slumped as she pouted into the camera. Mira's screen flickered back on a couple of seconds later. She wasn't in the bathroom anymore. She was sprawled across her bed now, blanket bunched at her waist, cheeks still faintly red from earlier. She gave them both a sharp little look, like she was daring either of them to say something. Zoe grinned immediately, leaning into her mic. So, she chirped, tummy feeling better now? Mira's blush deepened as she flipped Zoe off without missing a beat. Rumi snorted, covering her mouth with her hand. Be nice, Zoe. She leaned closer to the phone, resting her chin on her pillow as she asked with exaggerated innocence. So, did you wash your hands? Mira groaned, dragging a hand down her face. Yes, I washed them. See? She shoved both hands towards the camera until they blurred, wiggling her fingers exaggeratedly before letting them drop back into her stomach. Zoe blinked, her teasing grin softened just slightly as her gaze lingered on Mira's hand. Mira? She murmured, suddenly quiet. Mira frowned. Mira frowned. What? Let me see your hand again. Zoe's voice was low now, careful. Mira hesitated, blinking in confusion. I told you I washed them. It's not about that, Zoe said gently. Just show me, please. Something in her tone made Mira pause. Reluctantly, she lifted her right hand back into the frame. And then Rumi saw it too. The turtle rings, yep, that's what I thought. The turtle rings. For a moment, everything went still. Rumi swallowed hard. Yeah, Nick, we're like this. We're linked. Rumi swallowed hard, staring at the glint of silver on Mira's fingers. It felt like seeing a ghost, a fragile remnant of something they used to be. Zoe didn't say anything at first. Her lips parted, then closed again, like she was trying to keep her voice steady. You kept them? She finally asked, voice cracking at the end. So soft it almost wasn't a question. Mira blinked, then gave her an offended little look, like she couldn't believe Zoe even had to ask. I wasn't just gonna throw them away, she muttered, a hint of sharpness in her tone that didn't quite reach her eyes. Zoe's expression shifted, something quiet and complicated passing over her face. I didn't think you. She stopped herself, shaking her head. I don't know, I just didn't think you'd still wear it. Mira's eyes flickered away, suddenly unable to meet either of their gazes. Her fingers twitched her fingers twitched against the edge of her blanket, restless, before she finally spoke, her voice low and uneven, like she had to drag the words out of herself. You bought them for us, though. Her thumb brushed over the little carved shell, slow and careful, like she was memorizing its grooves with time. It mattered to you, she murmured, the quiet confession slipping out before she could stop it. And it mattered to me too. She hesitated, swallowing hard, her gaze fixed somewhere off camera. The silence stretched, thick and fragile, until she let out a breath and added, even softer this time, I didn't want to just shove it in a drawer and pretend it didn't exist. I couldn't. She turned the ring slightly, watching the way the light caught on its edges. They reminded me that even when I thought I lost everything else, when I couldn't cook anymore, when I thought it was the end of the world, that I still had you. The words felt raw, like she was bleeding them out one by one. And then, as if she suddenly realized how vulnerable that sounded, Mira froze. Her lips parted slightly, like she wanted to take it all back, before she groaned loudly and threw the blanket over her face, muffling the rest of her words into incoherent grumbling. Zoe didn't laugh this time. She just stared at the screen, mouth parted, like she'd forgotten how to breathe for a second. The playful spark that usually lit up her expression was gone, replaced by something softer, deeper, something Rumi had only ever caught glimpses of when Zoe thought no one was looking. Her smile came late, slow and quiet, curling at the edges but not quite reaching her eyes. It wasn't the kind of smile meant to tease. It was the kind of smile meant to hold onto something without touching it. Rumi noticed it immediately, the flicker of longing, the ache Zoe tried to hide. Chest tightened. For a moment, none of them said anything. The call was quiet, except for the hum of Zoe's mic and the distant rustling of Mira under her blanket. It almost felt like they were frozen in time, like the three of them had been dropped back into one of those rare, perfect nights from before, when the air was warm and safe, when laughter came easy, when none of them were afraid of losing each other. Because even now, even fractured, even bruised, none of them had really let go. And the rings, tiny, simple, stubborn little things, were proof they were still tethered. And that's a line break. Toss. Mm. Rumi, hey, so I called to feel better, and now I'm ugly crying. Thanks. They better be kissing big gay style by the end of this. My heart. We still need to get a beat chapter. Toss, toss, toss. Toss was talking about a beat chapter we haven't gotten yet. I'm gonna eat a little as I read the comments. We are. Woo! Mm, should I start reading this fic tonight? It's long. It's a long fic. This is chapter 34. After they date, after Mira's. Let's go. Let's fucking go. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited that you're just doing all the tropes. Beautiful. I'm so excited for beach. Beach, 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 beach. Sorry, y'all. I don't know if anyone dislikes eating noises. I hope it's not too loud. But I have to eat a little. I started reading Gimme That Candy Floss, and chapter 2 is 20k words. Gimme That Candy Floss chapters are long. Jamie is crazy. Jamie is crazy. That's why I was like, I'm gonna binge. I'm gonna download only Gimme That Candy Floss for my plane, for my flight, and just read that. Peanut butter and apples perchance, yes. And I added some honey to the peanut butter. Yeah, oh, come over. This is like the easiest. Live restricted for someone. Your life contains themes that some may find uncomfortable and has been restricted. Reason, suicide, and self harm. That's fair. That is very fair. Damn, yeah. Mm. The last time my live got restricted, it's because I was saying gay a lot. And then I was like, what the hell? This is a perfectly reasonable reason to restrict my live. That's fair. Sorry, I pull up Twitter and the first tweet I see is from my friend. Wait, 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 wait. Where are you? No, I just lost it. Fuck. Why is Cell telling Grilk? What? What is Jamie doing again? Cell just respond to Jamie being like, delete your account. Which, you know what? Fair. What is that? I tried Pilk. That was enough. That was enough, Jamie. I have a list of Two's Company, if it's advice on Give Me That Candy Floss, my favorite fanfics. I don't need to know what girl kiss. They scare me. Wait, sorry. What was I looking at? I was looking at something. Oh, wait, the Two's Company roleplay account, the Rumi account responded to me. Sorry, Zoe has been busy lately. Aw, it's okay. I just miss them. Guys, remember, they haven't been active for like a few weeks. Remember the Two's Company roleplay accounts? I miss my girls, but it's fine. It's fair. Very understandable. SBG mentioned. Wait, what? Did you try Slim Jims and Gushers? I haven't been able to find Slim Jims and Gushers at the grocery stores near me. And I don't want to go to Target. I don't want to go to Target. Like, I don't like supporting Target. Yeah, literally politics has made me go on Twitter way too much. Yeah. But it's fun. Sprilk was awful. Was it? For some reason, I had a thought that it would be a little better than Pilk, but then I thought about it, and then I remembered that Sprite has lemon flavoring, and then I was like, yeah, no, that would be bad. I can't escape Polytrix and Winclair. I see. Yeah, Winclair mentioned a lot as well. I have not watched Wednesday. Curdled. Yeah. I was getting like comments being like, "Oh, the carbonation makes the milk start to curdle." And I was like, I didn't drink that much. I didn't like my stomach was like all right. It was just making weird noises. But it was fine. Okay. I'm going to go back, y'all. Go back, y'all. Yeah, everyone. I do know that you met Jenna Ortega. Yeah. Good for you. I there has been some celebrity encounters like meetings with people who are celebrities to me that are like very memorable. It's a magic potion. Milk, carbonated drink, instant spoiled milk. Yeah. Um well, it seems like Jamie is ruining their own stomach right now. I'm not gonna ruin my stomach any further. I am gonna do the Slim Jims and Gushers though, because I do actually have faith in that. Unlike Demo, I do actually have faith in that. Jabberwocky, you're very funny. Yeah, thank you. Of course, anything for you. Okay, let's keep going. I didn't eat much, but let's keep going. My brain. I saw the first sentence and thought something else was going to happen. I am not going to say it, but you can understand how rotten my brain is from reading fanfiction. You know what I'm talking about if you I'm just going to say it. Oh my god. Oh, now I'm going to laugh. Oh my god. Rumi clutched the strap of her bag so tightly her knuckles ached, staring at the door looming in front of her. This door. God, this door. So much had happened behind it. Bad things, some good things, things she still didn't have words for. Her chest felt heavy. Not with dread, exactly, but with a strange, tangled weight she didn't know how to name. She almost turned around. Almost. She was too chicken to call ahead, too scared of hearing Celine's voice before she was ready to face her. So she'd done the next worst thing. She showed up. No plan, no script, just raw nerves and a backpack digging into her shoulder like a warning. Going into the belly of the beast, or the beast of the belly, or however that saying went, whatever. The point was, this was stupid, and she was here anyway. Rumi let out a shaky breath, bracing herself, and raised her fist. Her knuckles hovered just above the wood for a moment, her brain screaming at her to leave before she knocked lightly. Once, twice, and then she froze, heart pounding in her ears. Silence. Her throat bobbed as she swallowed. Should she just go? She could still turn around right now and pretend this never. The thought barely formed before she knocked again, a little harder this time, like she was afraid hesitation would glue her to the spot. A muffled voice came from the inside. "One moment." Rumi bit her lip and shifted her weight from one foot to the other, sneakers scuffing faintly against the concrete. Her palms were damp. She rubbed them against her jeans, forcing another shaky exhale through her nose as if that would calm the erratic rhythm of her heart. The lock clicked. The door creaked open. And there she was, Celine. Her hair was tied up loosely, a few strands falling around her face. She blinked when she saw Rumi, like she hadn't fully processed what she was looking at. And then something subtle shifted in her posture. Shoulders straightened almost instinctively, as though years of habit were forcing her to appear composed, unreadable. Rumi, Celine breathed at last. Her voice was soft, too soft. Rumi swallowed hard against the lump forming in her throat and stared back at her, trying to read her expression, except it wasn't the one she was used to. There was no edge in her gaze, no sharp precision or cold distance, no carefully constructed mask of control. Instead, there was something raw flickering there, something quiet, almost tentative, something human. And that was worse. Because Rumi didn't know what to do with this version of her. The softness was alien, and it made the air feel heavier, thicker. It made her want to both step forward and run in the opposite direction. And she didn't know how to handle that. They just stared at each other. Neither of them spoke at first, the silence stretching long enough for Rumi's stomach to knot itself tight. Her throat felt raw, like all the words she'd rehearsed on the drive here had dried up, leaving nothing behind but static. Finally, somehow, she found her voice. Hey, hey, she murmured, barely louder than a breath. Her fingers curled tighter around the strap of her bag. Can can I come in? Celine blinked, like the words had snapped her out of something. She nodded quickly, stepping aside with a small, stiff gesture. Of course, come in. Rumi hesitated on the threshold for half a second before finally crossing it. She braced herself automatically for the sharp sting of bleach and pine sol, the harsh, sterile tang that had clung to Celine's house for as long as she could remember. But when she stepped inside, it wasn't there. When she stepped inside, the air was different, softer, warmer somehow. There was something faint in the air now, something earthy, almost woody, like cedar, old pages instead of chemical burn. The unexpectedness of it made her chest loosen just slightly, like a tiny fraction of the weight of her shoulders had been set down without her permission. Celine Celine closed the door carefully behind her, the click of the lock sounding louder than it should have been in the quiet. When Rumi than it should have in the quiet. When Rumi glanced back, she caught Celine looking at her, really looking at her, like she was trying to memorize the details, catalog what had changed and what hadn't. She looked like she wanted to say something. Words sat unsaid behind her lips, thoughts somewhere she couldn't reach. That hesitation was new. Celine never used to hesitate around her, never used to look unsure. It was strange, and yet somehow it eased Rumi's nerves just a little. She shifted her weight, about to say something, anything, when Celine's face changed. Her brow furrowed slightly, and she pressed two fingers against the bridge of her nose, blinking as she blinking as though something stung. Rumi froze for half a second before realization hit, sinking low and cold into her stomach. Rumi backed up. Oh, Rumi backed up a step automatically. Oh, sorry, she muttered under her breath, guilt creeping into her tone. I forgot. The lavender scent. She'd only ever worn lavender once before, years ago, when she was small, when she thought maybe smelling like her mother would make her feel closer to her. She'd walked into the house that day, glowing, wanting to share that little piece of herself. And Celine had stopped her before she even made it to the kitchen. Don't wear that again, Rumi. It gives me headaches. She'd nodded back then, obedient and quiet. She never wore it again after that. But Rumi had figured out the truth eventually. Lavender didn't give Celine headaches. It reminded her. Selena exhaled softly now, like she was grounding herself. Do you want tea? She asked suddenly, her voice a little rough around the edges. Rumi pulled from a tangle of memory and nodded slowly. Yeah, she murmured. Tea sounds good. Celine nodded back without meeting her eyes and gestured faintly toward the living room. You can sit if you want, she muttered, already turning toward the kitchen. Rumi swallowed and nodded again, clutching the strap of her bag before slipping it off her shoulder. She set it down quietly on the side table, like she was afraid to disturb the stillness of the house, then lowered herself onto the couch. The cushions gave beneath her weight with the same soft sigh they always had. Her eyes drifted around the room without meaning to. Everything was the same. The framed photo on the shelf, the old clock that still ticked one beat too slow, the scratch on the coffee table from the time she'd spilled an entire glass of grape juice and panicked so hard she tripped over the rug trying to clean it up. Every corner whispered memories she wasn't ready for. Every object was an echo of something she thought she'd buried. It was the same house. Somehow, it didn't feel the same anymore. And maybe neither did they. Rumi slipped her phone out of her jacket pocket, thumb brushing over faint scratches on the screen. She turned it on and noticed there were several unread messages waiting for her in the group chat. Thruple trouble. Girlfriend 0.5, blue heart, 1:30 p.m. Girlfriend, are you alive perchance? You haven't responded to me telepathically, so I'm a little worried. Girlfriend number zero point 0.5, red heart. Mira, 1:31 p.m. She's not an alien, Zoe. But also, are you good, Rumi? Girlfriend number zero point 0.5, blue heart, 1:35 p.m. She still hasn't responded. What if Celine tied her up in a basement somewhere, her up into bite-sized and chopped her up into bite-sized pieces and cooked her in a stew? Girlfriend zero point 0.5, red heart, 1:36 p.m. That is disturbingly specific, but okay. I doubt that though. Dot dot dot. Okay, now I'm scared. Girlfriend zero point 0.5, blue heart, 1:37 p.m. See? This could be a cry for help. What if she did signal us telepathically, but we weren't synced enough to catch it? Girlfriend zero point 0.5, red heart, 1:38 p.m. Oh my god, you're so right. Are we not in sync enough to pick up each other's internal body signals? Are we failing as girlfriends? Girlfriends 0.5 blue heart 1:39 p.m. No! Free Rumi, please! Rumi, please answer us or I'm going to pass out. Rumi stared at the screen, lips twitching at their silliness. There was something comforting about it, the way they would manage to spend themselves into a full-blown rescue mission over her not texting for an hour. She bit her lip and finally typed back, rooms 2:04 p.m. I'm alive, guys, don't worry. Their responses were immediate. Girlfriend zero point 0.5, Blue Heart 2:05 p.m. My Shayla is okay. My Shayla is okay. Girlfriend zero point 0.5, Red Heart 2:05 p.m. Good, Red Heart. Girlfriend zero point 0.5, Blue Heart 2:06 p.m. Crying shark picture. We were worried about you, Pooks. What happened? I'm inside now. She's making us tea. Yeah, I'm inside now. She's making us tea. That's Rumi. Sorry. I'm inside now. She's making us tea. Girlfriend zero point 0.5, Red Heart 2:08 p.m. Keep your guard up. Keep your guard up. She probably poisoned it. Girlfriend zero point 0.5, Blue Heart 2:09 p.m. Do the old switcheroo when she isn't looking. Sip hers instead. It's the only way to be sure. Girlfriend zero point 0.5, Red Heart 2:10 p.m. But wait, what if she knew you'd switch it? So she poisoned hers on purpose, knowing it would end up back with you. Girlfriend zero point 0.5, Blue Heart 2:11 p.m. You're right. So switch it twice, Rumi. Girlfriend zero point 0.5, Red Heart 2:12 p.m. No, listen. What if she knew you'd switch it twice, so she left it in yours, knowing it would come back to you in the end? Rumi stifled a laugh, biting the inside of her cheek to keep from grinning too hard. Her phone buzzed again. Zoe already typing another warning, but before she could even read it, someone lightly cleared their throat. Rumi froze. Slowly, she looked up. Jean stood there, holding two steaming mugs, one brow arched ever so slightly. Her heart immediately tried to leap out of her chest. Rumi's lips pressed together instantly, heat flooding her cheeks. She reached out to take one of the mugs with a tiny, squeaky, thanks, praying Celine hadn't just witnessed her snickering at her girlfriend's full-blown fake poisoning plot. Celine said nothing at first, lowering herself onto the couch beside her. Not too close, but not distant either. A cautious, practiced in between. She set her mug carefully on a coaster, blew across the surface, and finally broke the silence with a quiet, almost tentative, those are. Her gaze flicked to Rumi's phone resting in her lap. Rumi blinked, then nodded quickly, her fingers curling around the warm ceramic like a lifeline. Yeah, just, Zoe and Mira. She didn't know why her throat suddenly felt tight. It wasn't like Celine didn't know about them, but saying it out loud here, in this house, on this couch, across from her, made her chest constrict strangely. Desperate to fill the silence, Rumi lifted the mug to her lips and blew gently at the rising steam. What kind of tea is this? Celine's gaze softened just slightly as she looked down at her own cup. Dechucha, Dechucha, she said after a pause. Jujube tea. It's supposed to calm the body, settle the heart. She took a small sip before glancing sideways at Rumi, her tone dry and deliberate. And no, I didn't poison it. Rumi immediately choked on air. So she did see the texts. Her heart plummeted straight to her ass, and heat bloomed across her ears as she sputtered out, I I wasn't. Celine's lips quirked faintly, like she was holding back a laugh but refusing to give Rumi the satisfaction of seeing it. Oh, Zoe and Mira were dead, buried, finished. She took a quick sip of the tea just to distract herself, welcoming the burn on her tongue if only to bury the embarrassment prickling at her skin. Sorry, she muttered weakly. Celine lifted her mug again, taking a slow sip before setting it down with deliberate care on the coffee table. Her gaze softened. Oh, sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze. Her gaze softened, just barely, but her voice carried a heaviness that pressed into the quiet between them. I don't blame them, she murmured, almost to herself. It wouldn't have been the first horrible thing I've done to you. The words slipped out like a confession she hadn't planned to say. I like this so much already. Artie, don't die still. I'm not dying. This is Two's Company. This is the new chapter of Two's Company. I really like that. I'm really liking this. I should probably blow my nose again. Sorry, y'all. Disgusting. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, my head is spinning. Oh no. Oh my god. And I also need to plug in my phone. Oh. I won't die. My head is spinning because I blew out my nose. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm just trying to reel everything in. Artie, take a sip of some water, please. I will. So many cables going on here. Oh god, I need to do this setup smartly. Now I want to do the Scottish disgusting me when I'm in VC. Is it disgusting? Disgusting. Oh yeah, everyone remember to hydrate and sustenance themselves. Please do, everyone. I mean, okay, y'all. I think we're gonna have a little setup change because I need to plug in my phone. Disgusting. Okay. Let's see if I can put this over here. I'm gonna be a little farther away. I'm currently eating Chipotle. Oh, Chipotle.